the night. The city lights are dancing, slowly falling apart. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling stronger, and I know I can do better. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up,
Welcome everyone to the game tonight, and joining me today is our two lovely streamers, Dorkvision and Chair. Chair is our DM today. Hello, Chair. I'm okay with this. So, Chair, where will you sit us now?
He had to go to those.
Oh, that's fair enough. Where are we going today, Chair? Oh no, someone's kicked Chair out. Oh, man. Andre, how's it going, man?
It's going well. I cannot wait to play, and I am looking forward to what we do to contend with the forces of evil coming upon us.
So all of you at home do know, Wolfden 808 will be here. Unfortunately, he has a job. He had to deal with some water leaks and had to take off, so he's going to be joining us halfway through. So with love and respect, we'll miss you, Clay. Don't rush things. Get her done, and let's do this.
I'll try not to kill you.
That is a lie.
Yeah,
I think this entire campaign is rigged against us, so...
Oh, from the beginning.
Well, absolutely. We didn't even do anything.
I made you 7th level, so obviously I planned on killing you.
Well, I think we owe our audience a recap. And do you, Dorkvision, you want to handle this, or... No.
No, not at all. No. Not the slightest.
Okay, I will handle this. Hang on, I gotta bring it up because my computer's being stupid.
Yeah,
this is what happens when you type all your notes in computer. When you have a perfectly good notebook standing near you. Do I have a notebook?
No.
Nope, I lied. Okay, well, computer it is. Here we go. All right. Let's see. Here it is. Our game takes place in the world of Winthray. From the mastermind of Masterofflowers, John Poland, our party is heading up to the city of Tyr. Along the King's Road, we've taken a break from our long journey at a tavern known as the Dancing Demon Inn. An inn set up in a historical battleground, built from sturdy logs that make it look like a miniature fort attached to a barn. Upon entering and after the first day, our party began to notice that the same people showed up to the bar from this small farming community, and they seemed to have little awareness of their surroundings. The gang decided to venture into the night for a relaxing hunting trip for boar, only realized that an undead curse is preventing everything in the area from dying, and the boar they killed was reanimated. After the Paladin went to check at the horses at the inn, and finding their coachman slain by the undead, it seemed to be that a vast number of undead have emerged to surround the property. The three would-be heroes gathered the citizens inside the bar and herd them into the cellar of the inn. After dousing the place with flammable alcohol and turning tables for fortifications, the group prepares to repel a siege of undead hosts. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to you, John.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay. So besides the awesome intro that you wrote and you spoke, which is great, I appreciate that. There's a few NPCs that are important to know, and I'm just going to quickly name them off. Torrid Maximilian, he is the owner of the bar. Right now, he and his family, that includes his wife and his 3 daughters, have been kicked into the basement and locked in there by you guys.
Kicked is a strong word, sir.
No, you booted his ass into the hole, I believe was the exact term that you used to pin him down there. There's also 2 other farmers down there as well. Not really that important. The wife's name is Mero Maximilian. And then the 3 daughters are Kara, Sarah, and Laura. The important dwarf, who is the only one that's actually helping you to fight, is Bolaric Steelmantle from the illustrious Steelmantle clan. He is a trader, he says. Not a traitor, but a trader of fine goods, which apparently he had in the barn, which he can't get to, though he would like to. He has an uneasy alliance with James's character, which is what, Hildemore? Hildemore, yeah.
Don't call him Hilda. He won't like that.
Okay, so Hilda. And and as you explained, they have doused the entire room in flammable liquid. Where we had left off, Val, Andre's character, was sitting back in a chair and getting ready to tell Axis to open the door after giving them a rousing speech. So before we start that, to give our friend Clay a little more time, I'm just going to have both James and Andre just give us a quick description of your characters, what they look like, what they're carrying, and stuff like that as well. Andre, you can go first.
All right. Val the Dark is a fallen Aasimar, and he is quite evil. But his evilness is kind of like nice evil. In other words, he tries to sugarcoat everything that he does that is evil as an altruistic endeavor. But the end result is that it's a really horrifying incident that's going to occur, and it's all his doing. He is a cleric of the Raven Queen, which is the god of death, and who guards the gates of the Shadowfell as the bodies of, or the spirits of the dead, go to transition to whatever plane they're going to go to as a result of the lives that they lived, and he is one of her servants. So how he perceives death is not the same way that the other Aasimar that is with us, the cleric of good, perceives death. He perceives death as a vehicle of service. And when it has served their party, and they've been traveling for a while together, it has served them well, because he's completely apathetic to the plight of those that he slays, and the appeals of those who ask for mercy. And he leans on the opposing Aasimar in the group to deal with those individuals. He thinks that good and righteousness is all blind falsehood, but he does tolerate and enjoy the company of this good cleric, Aasimar, that he travels with. They have fantastic debates from time to time, and the dwarf that he travels with is so rugged and so just burly and so dwarfish that it kind of just really works out that they all teamed up together. They're definitely the odd trio, but so far that's what Val is. Just so you guys know, Val is going to evolve. I say this is the way he is now. He may be really evil, and we just don't know. But it just really depends on how the game plays and how we all choose to role play. But I guess that's Val. Carries 2 swords and does a couple of spells.
Excellent. Hilda?
Hildemar Forestier is a dwarf of ill repute. He started off his career being a kind of a guide or a bounder in the woods around populated cities that have had dangerous creatures before, undead included. But unfortunately for him, he is very, I guess his personality is kind of brash, and people don't really like him too much. And he's also been known to seize opportunity. Some people may call this stealing, but he doesn't like to word it that way. And he's been chased out of most places of good business. So now he makes his business with whatever party members or acquaintances he could find to get jobs done. He's good at his job, and that's what he likes to do. Being a ranger, he's more of a guide than your typical force defender. He does hunt, he survives, and that's why he's hired. He's the hermit dwarf that takes groups through uncharted territory, and that everyone hopes that once the job is done, he doesn't hang around. But he's really bonded well with his Aasimar compatriots. He thought he'd get along with the Paladin more, because the Paladin's more his angle as far as doing good and ridding the world of evil. But he's found that the arrogance and snootiness of such a Paladin with the sticks shoved far up his ass, that he's actually bonded more with the evil Aasimar, which shares his down-to-earth, let's just get the job done no matter what kind of mentality. And speaking of gets the job done no matter what, he hefts the table onto its side in the inn. His green leather vambraces, which he doesn't have for stylization, it's for camouflage. blending in. It's got a lot of straps and tie downs up his arms and across his chest so that he could shove foliage of different types in there. And overall, standing next to him in the sun, he's got so much bacon, he probably smells like burnt bacon in the sun. So he doesn't change much. The leather is dry and cracked and has definitely served its purpose. And instead of getting new armor, he always stitches it up with some vines or whatever he has at his disposal. So there's a lot of homemade repair remedies done on this ranger's armor. Believe it or not, and a lot of people don't really see this, he fights with a longbow. And I don't mean a longbow for a dwarf. I mean a 6-foot tall yeoman's bow. And he holds it at a slight angle when he fires it. But he's got the draw strength to pull it back, lock it into place, and be able to fire it at great speed. And you would think somebody like this dwarf would walk around with giant mauls or maces or weapons of mass destruction, but he's quite agile and uses 2 short swords, which are of elven make. And he uses them quite well. So yes, that's where we're at. I think he hefts the table up and he goes, "Wait! As always, excellent speech. Your words, Val, have soothed me so. But I think we have a matter to address. The undead aren't going anywhere."
Yes.
And he turns
What
towards
is the matter that you...
he turns towards his other dwarf and says, "Your cargo, would you say it's profitable?"
Of course it's fucking profitable. Why would I be selling it if it wasn't?
Well, selling's a strong word, considering everyone around here is quite poor. I imagine you're going somewhere to sell it, isn't that correct?
Well, fuck, I just stopped here to sleep the night. I was heading off to the city of Tyr.
And you had no escorts whatsoever?
No.
Val, sidebar. And he kind of like steps back towards the edge of the bar, motioning for Val to step forward.
What is the delay?
What do you think about 10%?
I don't think much. I think that there's a legion of undead on their way to come into this room.
They have all of eternity. They'll start banging on the... We need to figure this out now.
Why, please, explain to me why you are delayed and asking me about the dwarf.
Because, Val... I feel like, just as an out-of-character, I feel like my dwarf is the Ferengi of this mission. Like, there's a profit to be made. We can't possibly save this man's cargo if the entire place is surrounded by waves upon waves of the undead. Maybe if we get it now and bring it back to the inn and then hold our defenses? If we make friends with this dwarven pal here... we might be able to. And keep in mind, what he sees is like loud, hushed. He could probably hear every other word, but he's like, if we bring it in here, there might also be stuff inside said cargo that would support a longer siege.
I have already contemplated what you are thinking of, and I do not
Excellent, we're on the
think
same page. Great. 10% then?
it won't even need to be split. He will not survive the evening.
So we'll tell him 15.
Fine, 15, Hildemar.
Hildemar turns around and looks at the other dwarf. 20%.
As you spin around, you see the dwarf's eyebrow is raised. He seems like he probably overheard a lot of the whispering, especially some of the louder stuff that came out at the end.
Yeah, that was not whispering.
He's like, no. And stay the fuck away from me.
You drive a hard bargain.
At this
10%.
At this point, Val returns to him, and he will go, Hildemar, you will not last the night. Don't worry about percentages. Let's go.
What
size
does he
is the
fucking
cargo?
mean by that?
I'm talking about the fucking power. Paladin.
The Paladin wasn't part of this deal.
I'm winking at Ildamar.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I mean, he's like, oh yes, the Paladin, yes. Glad he's on our side.
Bruh.
So he just takes his swords out. He goes to the dwarf and he says, "Fight hard. We will do well." And then he just goes and he says, Are you ready for the plan?
And as you're moving towards that, you say that. Before the dwarf can even say anything, you hear the sound of glass shattering and breaking. It's muffled because it's coming from the second floor. You hear one and then another. It sounds like maybe multiple windows in multiple rooms have been burst inward.
You know the Paladin never said they could climb. This kind of puts a wrench in the plans, doesn't it?
Not really. Both fire rises will be fine. Look, we have to send the Paladin upstairs to contend with them and turn them. Upstairs, as well as the back room, will be the safe house. We must keep those zones protected. So, if you would not mind, try and convince the Paladin to go there.
So he stays down here, and we go upstairs and handle it. Maybe secure the window?
That's a good change of plan, but he may go up like flame. And he says that loud.
Well, I'm sure the dwarf can handle himself down here, am I right?
That's right. So, let us go upstairs as you suggested. And he does his winking again.
We're going upstairs, as I suggested. And he turns on his heel and motions for Val and starts going upstairs. And just so you guys in the audience know, he'd be a lot better at this, but I just realized I have a +0 performance. And I do believe... Yep. Diplomacy is definitely low as well. Persuasion's 0. Yeah, he's not good at this.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all.
The dwarf ignores you and moves towards the bar, almost as he's going around to stand behind it. Axis kind of stands by the door where he was originally, getting ready to pull the bar off and open it. He kind of stops and tilts his head towards you and he says, "Is this not what we're doing?"
If you
The plans have changed.
Plans have changed.
So we are going
must.
upstairs to destroy the undead?
We need you to stay down here. We are going to go upstairs. It appears that the undead have already penetrated the windows and some of the building. Upstairs, we are going to go tend to them. Stay down here and remain with the door and make sure that hatch is not opened.
I will do this. And you see he hefts his axe and then moves towards the center of the room, almost drawing a circle with the axe as he spins around, daring anyone to cross the line. And he just kind of hefts it and gets ready.
Hildamar elbows Val. You know, for being named after a weapon, he isn't very sharp.
Well, hopefully he's fireproof. Let's go.
Right.
No, axis, diversity. Not that he just shakes his head and just ignores you.
So, I get it now. Axis, not axes. Like, okay, I was wondering because he only fought with one. You know what? Never mind. And he pulls his longbow out and draws an arrow and says, "Do you want me to go first?"
Yes, of course. Go first.
And I would like to roll a stealth check up the stairs. Actually, let's move together. So, what's your stealth, Andre?
I get a +1.
Okay, so we both have +1, and that's just strictly because I have +1 dexterity. Do you want me to roll, or do you want to roll this?
Val wants you to go first.
So we are not traveling as a group. Wow, shit has
No, we're
changed.
going together. We're going together. We are going together. But you asked if you wanted to go first, so you can go
Fair
first.
enough. I was just trying to
Val,
con you into moving ahead. That's fine.
Val has your back.
Do I get an inspiration for?
Oh, you do? Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you read the intro. Sure.
Okay. I'm going to use it because I rolled a 4. No need to chat. It's a good thing you can't see the dice, okay? This is embarrassing. Does a 10 do it?
Yeah, you are extremely stealthy and extremely quiet.
I'm like, yeah, I got
On the
this.
third step, when you tripped and you banged your crossbow onto the staircase, it didn't seem to make a lot of noise. So you feel like you're pretty stealthy.
I just recover my bow and shrug it off. I know I messed up, so I'm going to pick up my pace now.
Okay.
Now that I know they heard me, and I'd like to do something. This is going to be interesting because I have a lot of luck perks as well as my primeval awareness. I know that I can detect undead nearby. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up the stairs, and I want to try to slide by the doorway, and I'll roll a perception if this works, but the doorway that I hear the noise coming from, I'd like to slide by it and fire off a few arrows if the door is open. So I want to do kind of like a shot on the run, sliding across the ground from one side of the doorway to the other. That way both Val and I are on either side of the doorway.
Sure. When you get to the top of the staircase, though, as you spin, you don't even have any time to slide, move, or do anything as a gray-skinned, hairless creature with sharp claws leaps upon you, trying to bear you to the ground. Roll for initiative.
I hate this already, Andre, just to let you know. Could have let the guy with the bow go first. Oh, geez, look what happened to you. That sucks. 16 for initiative. I got owned. Now if Val saves me.
Yeah, no, it's
no. You're excluded from initiative this turn.
Well, unless you want to run back the other way.
He said he had my back.
Listen, I have obligated myself to pay close attention to the narrative, and I just wanted to make sure that since I had not advanced, did I need to roll initiative. So I rolled a 9.
Okay.
I love this game already.
Hilda, there's a kind of a as something just leaps upon you. It's all claws and biting teeth and smashing and scratching and scraping. It doesn't bear you to the ground. Does an 18 hit you?
Does an
Your AC?
18 hit me?
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. You're ranger wearing plate? Oh, you're not?
Well, you know, I didn't know if you had magical armor. Oh, wait,
Have a
you
good
don't.
one, Chili.
What a shame.
This is not good.
Okay. So as the claws rake across you and it bites down upon you, you take 8 piercing damage, then 7 piercing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay, so 17 you said? Piercing damage total? I'm sorry.
8 and 7.
8 and
So
7, 15. See,
yeah,
I
15.
can't count. That works. And a Constitution save, is this against poison?
No. It's against
So I do
poison.
not get my advantage. This is not good. I should save my inspiration. 13.
Excellent. All right. So as the creature's hideous smell, as well as its powerful necromantic energies that are around it, the negative energy tries to zap your will to move. But you manage to resist it. Your dwarven fortitude holds you back. You push the creature off. It kind of sits back, crawling down, spreading itself out on all fours, kind of hissing at you. You can see behind it another 3. And they're all kind of like creeping on the edges, all just staring at you behind it down the hallway. And you can see more coming in the window, which happens to be Val's room directly in front of you. There's more stepping through the window.
Do I see how many targets that are visible?
There are 5 total at the moment.
All right. I think Val, just because he's fought with Val before, I think he's going to shout to Val, 5 confirmed.
Okay. That's an incidental. You can do that. It's also you're up. You actually beat.
Okay, well, I
was
can't
just
fire the
surprised.
bow because it's pressed against my chest now. So while it's pressed against my chest, I'm going to reach under the arms of the undead where it can't claw at them. It's kind of like where he can't bend his arms. Grab my short swords from this sheath, and then I want to pull with all my might, and I want to scissor him while he's on top of me to try to get him off.
He never actually bared you to the ground. He wasn't strong enough. He tried.
Oh.
He actually bounced off you, and he squatted down on all 4s in front of you.
He's still.
Fire.
Would I take disadvantage firing? Is this still considered melee range?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, in that case, I would take a shot, and I'm going to try to earn some inspiration and do something crazy, because I am very dexterous, not very strong.
I'm known.
I want to run down the hall towards him, but then suddenly jump to the left and kick off the wall, firing at him while I'm athleticizing over him, and then try to land behind him so that Val can get him for the flank.
Sure. Making acrobatics?
That's actually the one thing I have that's decent.
I figured it would be.
22, because I got a nat 20. Is that good enough for you, DM?
You just miss it.
Oh, crap.
It's awesome. Yeah, you run, you bounce off the wall. It's not like it's a huge distance between you and him. It's only about 10 feet, but still you go up on the wall, drop around him. He kind of watches you almost like in surprise. It doesn't actually try to respond or attack you in any way as you hit the ground firing as you go.
Yeah, I think what happens is my nat 20 is where the jump is a little more hyperextended than I thought it was going to be. So after I kick off the wall, I curl, fire at him while I'm upside down, and then end up doing a flip and landing on my feet.
Yeah, you John Woo the shit out of that as you fucking flip over.
Okay, I'm going to make my attack.
Land close to me.
I landed on the other side so that you and I can flank him, because it's in a small little hallway. That way I can contend with the ones at the end while you're taking care of this guy. I'm trying to remember how many attacks rangers get, because I haven't played a ranger in a long time. Right? Yeah, I'm level 7.
2, but you have a crossbow. I'm not really sure.
I have a longbow.
Oh, you have a longbow. Yeah, you get it.
Okay, so I'll just make 2 attacks against that target. I actually like this dice program we're using. I know it's manual, but it is pretty rad being able to type a few things in.
Yeah, it works pretty good.
There we go.
You hear the whisperings from behind you. You will die.
Sorry, Chad, I'm trying to do this real quick so that I can just copy and paste it for the others.
You can shift up, too.
Oh, okay, that works. Boom. Okay, so the first one I rolled a 20. Did 4 damage. The second one I only rolled an 8 and did 7 damage.
So the first arrow pierces the side of the creature, but then as you're coming down, you fire off again, and this one kind of goes wide as the creature kind of scurries up to the side of the wall, almost like climbing up on it, but it's 1 foot touching the ground. The other 3 of its limbs are up against the wall, kind of like it just hisses at you. It's got its back facing Val now, who's on the staircase.
And I have my back facing it, looking at the undead coming.
Yeah, so you've spun and looking down. You feel a little nerve-wracking, and you have to make a... Yeah. So as you do hit the ground and you stand up, You breathe in a sigh of relief, of power, as you've just fired off those arrows. You're feeling pretty good about yourself, especially with that awesome flip. And then something strikes you, a smell and an odor, and it just tries to make you vomit. Make a saving throw versus poison.
Versus poison?
Yeah, you get the save. Yeah, you get advantage because you're a dwarf.
4 and a 6.
Oh, excellent.
I shouldn't be able to get poisoned, but I am.
But you do.
I am resistant, so.
All right. So immediately the stench of death kind of corrupts you. It's laced with negative energy as you breathe it in. You can see the creature that had just climbed through the window as it got within maybe 15 feet as it's moving towards you. Its odor, the smell seems only almost palatable, almost as if it's a solid form that rams against you. And when it does, you feel your whole entire body become tight, almost as if the energy from your face and your hands and your body are just kind of being removed, sucked out.
Gross.
Of energy removed. Yeah. You are poisoned, but it doesn't actually do poison damage. It's slightly different. It's the poison status effect.
Yeah, poison condition.
Poison condition.
Just for chat though, poisoned has disadvantage. Oh, I just lost it. Just so chat knows, poison has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. So that really boned me. Thank you, John. It's been nice playing this game. Andre, as always, I'll see you later. And that's the end of the stream, folks. No. All right.
Yeah. As you spin, you find yourself tightening up. One of the ghouls lunges forward, the one that's closest. The two closest to you come in and attack you. The other one can't get to you because he's behind the other two, and it's just the hallway's not too fucking huge, so they can't fit. The gas comes up behind and just kind of stands there. So you see they kind of go crazy, double swiping at you with their claws. One rolls a 12. That's a miss. One rolls a 14. You hear that? Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Sorry, chat.
There's peaceful magic playing in the background as one of the undead turns the corner with a harp and tries to soothe us. Roll against sleep. That would actually be a terrifying monster.
Sorry about that, guys. Bad DM.
How dare you have real life?
I know, right? How dare my alarm go off?
I want a refund.
I left my phone.
That's your alarm? That thing
That's
wouldn't
my
wake
alarm.
me up.
It was in the kitchen, so it's a mile that way. So where was I? Oh yes, the ghouls were slashing at you. So the first one slashed at you, missing. It kind of deflected off your armor. The second one rolled a 16. I don't know what your AC is.
It's 15.
That hits?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That does hit.
And he hit you for 8 points of slashing damage.
Don't say oof.
You also have to make another Constitution saving throw.
All right, why can't he roll like Barros? I don't know. Or Grigori.
Sure. Grigori, yeah.
Yeah, Barros sucked. 3! Are you kidding me? What is going on, chat?
Oh, shit.
I need bits to buy new dice, please. This is stupid.
I rolled an 8.
If I rolled a 1, I could have re-rolled that, but no. It was a 2.
All right. So the creature lunges at you, and when it does slash, the first slash is deflected, the second one hits you, kind of crosses against your neck. And when it does so because of the poison probably affecting your body, suddenly you get all stiff. Your muscles contract. You feel your hands are almost like claws. Your entire body, almost as if you're being electrocuted. You can't move. You find yourself being paralyzed. Then you see a little thing appear above his head, a little paralyzed symbol. And then the other one is extremely happy because now you're paralyzed and poisoned, which means you don't get dexterity. So your AC is 1 worse. 15, does that hit you?
15 is my AC.
Nice. 15. And an 18, that also hits you. 6.
Okay. I posted the paralyzed. A paralyzed creature is incapacitated. I cannot move or speak. The creature automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws. Attack rolls against me have advantage, so they can roll to see if they get a crit. And any attack that hits me is automatically a critical hit if I'm within 5 feet of the creature. So I just took 2 crit hits.
Yeah, sorry. Sadly, you take 16 points of slashing damage and then 12 points of slashing damage as the creature rakes across your body. The other creatures from behind, especially the large gas creature that you had got paralyzing from it, you hear go.
Val, you better wipe that fucking grin off his face.
Val, make a perception. Wait, your perception is a 9. You don't notice shit. Go ahead.
All right. Val will use Necrotic Shroud. And once prolonged rest as an action, you can transform, causing all within 10 feet to make a charisma saving throw versus a DC of 14 or be frightened of you until the end of next turn. This lasts for 1 minute or until the end of until it ends. It is as a bonus action, so that is my bonus action, right? So basically what you would see is Val basically transform into this gigantic Cthulhu-esque looking beast at the end of the hallway and just make this and just like face all of the undead that are over his ally.
Okay, and what is the DC they have to make?
14.
14?
Yes.
And it's everyone within 15 feet? Or is it everyone that can see you?
10 feet.
All right, so that encompasses the one that's behind him at the moment. So he rolls.
Okay. The only one? Okay. Well, I guess I didn't understand the spatial setup, but that's fine.
Well, just think you're only at the top of the stairs. James is only
I'm 10 feet away.
10 feet away. And then between you and him is one of the ghouls. So there's not like a huge amount of space. And I'm assuming it doesn't affect your friends. So not that he could do anything.
No.
He's paralyzed. So I just wanted to say that
I literally cannot see
paralyzed.
him. Even
yeah,
if he was like, hey, look over here, I'd be like...
Oh, I didn't mention the mirror at the end of the corridor and you're looking right at it.
All right, so what happens since this? Did he pass or fail?
No, he failed. So what is the effect completely? I've never actually heard the spell or whatever you're doing, so...
He's considered frightened, so he's going to run away from me.
Okay, so on his turn, he moves. Yeah, he tries to get as far away from you as possible. He can't go.
I thought that it was going to affect more individuals. I apologize, but
no, that's
I
fine.
wouldn't have wasted. If I wanted to.
No, you don't have to use it then. Use something else. I don't.
Actually, no, this helps because here's the thing: as long as you're within sight, he gets disadvantage on his attack rolls. So that could be helpful.
Right. I will basically. There's also another reason why I'm doing it, and that will be next round. I want to clear my area where I'm at. So I guess that would be the conclusion of my turn. I'm not going to move closer. I'm not going to advance because they're all on top of him now, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, he's got 2 in front of him. He's got 1 behind him. Then there are several others, but they're farther along on the hallway.
Can we say that as a result of the Necrotic Shroud, their attention is on me now, or no? Or are they still advancing on him?
Probably the one. In general, I would say that everyone is looking in your direction, even though they're not affected by it. I mean, that's a fair thing to say. Though, I mean, the ones closest, they can smell blood. I mean, it's fairly obvious the dwarf is just standing there paralyzed. They're very used to people getting paralyzed when they hit them and they eat them. It's pretty simple.
Well, as an incidental, I've already screamed in this alternative form, but as an incidental, I'm going to beckon them, scream out louder, come get me! And that would be the end of my turn.
Okay. You notice that the ghouls are all kind of crouched down. They're only either on all fours or they're just kind of sitting on their haunches. But the the larger of the undead beings that are back there and the farthest behind in the room, he stands up tall. And when you kind of yell, he kind of like goes, he just begins laughing.
All right, I cannot do anything else.
Okay. So we're back at the top of the order. James, you get to make a saving throw, my friend.
How many? 2?
Just one.
Okay. $20.
Okay. Yeah, you break out of the paralyzation that's affecting you. You're still poisoned. Yeah. You find yourself staring at the gleaming, sharpened, bloodied teeth and claws of the creatures in front of you. But you can now move. So.
He also sees Cthulhu behind him saying, "Get over here."
Yeah, if he turns around, right?
I think I'm going to go ahead, and this always 10 feet wide?
Yeah. It's a little bit less than that, but yeah.
I'm going to use the disengage action to rotate to the other side of the one that was between Andre and I, so now I'm with Andre.
Okay.
So that... No, actually, I'm going to take the dodge action.
Yes, so that if multiple attacks come your way, excellent. Well done, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to take the dodge action. I want them to try to strike at me. Burn their attacks of opportunity.
Are you going to advance towards me? Or
Yeah, I'm moving. I'm still within range of that one ghoul, but I'm moving away from the 2 that struck me before.
Smart move. Well done.
Okay. Surprisingly, you move around without any problems. You notice that the one that was in front of you, you kind of push it out of the way in a way, and it kind of backs off. It seems to be staring at Val, like kind of, and it looks like it's about to like flee. But you go around it and it doesn't attack you or take an attack of opportunity as it seems to be frightened. And is that all you can do, buddy? You got your dodge.
That is, are they going to attack me?
No, nope.
Oh, wow.
Right now, they're staring at Val, trying to figure out what the hell's going on with him. After you goes the ghouls. The one closest to you turns and kind of runs halfway up the wall and then goes down, and it just kind of scurries off past the ghast out the window. As it flees as far and fast as it can to get away from Val. The other 2 kind of hiss, and they move forward, and then they slash at you. This time, instead of doing a double swipe with their claws, they do a swipe and a bite.
If they advance within 10 feet of me, they must make the save.
Okay, first one rolled a 17. That's a save. Second one rolled a 9. He failed, so he stops, not moving any closer towards you because he can't. And then he actually takes, instead of doing anything else, he moves back away from you. But the other one does step up, ignoring your frightened appearance. James, let's see. You give them disadvantage. So a 12 is a miss. And a 15 is a miss as well. I think, right?
No, 15 at disadvantage should still hit. My armor class is 15.
All right. So he hits you with his bite. He does 9 points of piercing damage as he clamps down on your arm and then kind of releases. You have to make a Constitution save.
Is this against poison?
This is against paralyzation.
Oh, God, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I guess.
12.
Okay, yeah, you easily resisted this time. You kind of know what's going on now, and as that energy kind of gets into you, you just kind of use your dwarven fortitude to push it out. You're like, no.
Yeah, now I'm cursing myself for not taking that paralyzation vaccination that everybody in the castle was telling us about. So.
Yeah, they told you that. That and the herpes one. Yeah.
No, I got that one. I didn't argue with you. I didn't argue with you. I go to a lot of bars, okay?
Yeah. The other creatures don't move any closer. You watch the one scuttle away, moving back behind the ghast. The ghast is standing in the doorway of Val's room, And you notice that there's still one more in front of the ghast, as well as the one that's fighting James. But they don't seem to be moving any closer. It's almost like they're waiting for something. You are up, Val.
Val will advance closer towards the ghasts. The spell will remain persistent. So what he's trying to do is get within the 10-foot frame of as many of the enemies as he can, so that they all have to make saves. And on his way toward doing that, the one that was not, well, one was frightened and one was not frightened, and that one that was not frightened was the ghast that attacked James, right?
Yeah, and you can't force your way past him because he's in your way. He won't let you get by.
Okay.
You can kill him.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is I am going to attack it. And with my sword, bear with me, I'm so not used to looking at this sheet as a way to play. And I do not have any advantage, or inspiration. Do we start with inspiration?
No.
Is that correct?
No. If you had it from last time.
I swing and miss, and I yell at the dwarf. I say, "You brat, get behind me! I will protect you from evil."
What did you roll?
I rolled a 9. I did not hit this. I spoke as an incidental, tell Hildred to try and get behind me. He failed in the paralysis roll?
No, he didn't.
Or he succeeded, so he can still move next turn. Okay, so then I said the right thing.
Yeah, James is fine.
Okay, good. That's it.
Okay. Looks at you and roars. We are back at the top of the order. James?
All right. During my shimmy over here when I dodged, one of the things I forgot to say is I was going to put my bow away.
That's fine.
Take the bonus action. And I pull the blades out, and I'm actually, instead of staying just strictly behind Val, I'm going to be moving to the left and right of him and slashing. So it'll actually look like he's got 2 other arms coming out out of his waist because he's tall. But I'm going to be actually spinning on his back while keeping my face to the stairs when I'm not engaged in combat, just in case. Because I don't know about you, John. So far, my experience with you as DM has been terrible.
Always good to watch your back.
Always good to watch my back, and also take a wheelchair wherever I go. So,
I usually try to.
Is this in handicap accessible, just in case I get paralyzed again?
It is.
Okay, great. Short sword. I'm stalling chat so I can type out my library. There we go. Please find purchase. That would be good. That would be amazing. I'd be okay with this. D6 plus 3.
Today's game brought to you by D&D Beyond.
Yes, thank you, D&D Beyond. This is very useful. I assume a 7 misses the target.
Yes.
So,
yep.
But as a 16.
16 does hit. Yeah, the first slash you make is a little off, only because you're not used to doing it. But then
I only do 4 damage because I rolled a 1. But yes!
4 piercing damage.
I broke his nail.
Yeah, you lash out. It puts a nice line across the edge of his shoulder.
To give chat and Andre an idea of where I'm sitting at, I had 86 HP when I walked up these stairs, and I now have 24.
This is precisely why I told you to go first.
You know what, Fowler? I'm starting to realize this.
Oh, shit.
What a dick.
All right, so the ghoul in front of you, if he ends his turn, does he have to make the saving throw, or is it just once he makes the saving throw and he just has to keep doing it? Do you know?
As long as they're within it stays up for 1 minute, so that's 6 rounds.
Right.
This will be the third round. So if they come within a 10-foot proximity of me, they have to roll a save.
If they're within that range, do they have to keep making the saving throw, is what I'm asking.
No.
Okay.
It's either if they enter it on their turn, they have to roll a save, or if on my turn I come close to them, and they weren't within the influence of my spear, then they have to roll.
Okay, so the one in front of you, who isn't affected by your fear, he kind of slashes out at you. He rolls a 7. That is a miss. And then he rolls a 19. Is that it?
That's a hit. That's a hit.
All right, so he hits you with a slash. His claw rakes across you, hitting you for 7 slashing damage. And you have to make a Constitution save.
Oh my god, this is going to be bad. What is my Constitution save? Okay, not too bad. I rolled a 20 on the Constitution save. So
Yeah,
just take
yeah.
7.
The -8 negative energies that flow towards you start to pull at you, but you just kind of deflect them. You're like, I've dealt with negative energy before. I am negative energy.
Alright, the changes have been applied to my sheet. I am now at 38 hit points. I've taken the damage and resisted the petrification.
Okay, and then I need you to make a saving throw versus poison. As you now smell the stench of the gas as it moves towards you.
It's 4, so I failed that.
Okay, you now have the poison condition. The second rolls an 8, so he fucking fails. The ghoul kind of leaps forward at you. Not the one that was in front of you, the one that was behind him. He kind of steps towards you, but your shroud pushes him off. He stops, he balks, and then just kind of runs past the ghast. That leaves just the ghast and the one in front of you as active combatants. The others have jumped out the window, being afraid of your shroud.
Good. So that's 2 on 2. So, but James is not paralyzed, so this is good. All right.
Yeah. You
again.
I'm
up.
Yeah, you
Hilda's.
said Val. Do you mean me or do you mean Val? I'm confused.
No.
It should be Hildebrand. Val's up. I'm up. Are you sure?
Yeah, no. Hildebrand did the double sword attack, and then the ghouls went, and then Val goes.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. We're arguing with the DM, and he knows more than we do.
That's why I have a tracker right here, so I don't make a mistake like that.
All right, 1d20 plus 4 for a range attack. I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast. I roll 17.
Yeah, you are.
The closest one.
Yeah, you smash him.
All right, so that is for the Eldritch Blast. I'm going to roll 1d10.
You're going to roll 2d10.
2d10, sorry. 7 level, sorry. 2d10, and I hit him for 18 points.
Holy shit.
I'm missing something in the chat. I know I am. All right, so yes.
Yeah, your Eldritch Blast slams into the ghoul. It kind of rocks it back. You know, it's at the front of its chest begins to melt and burn as black necrotic energy gets into it and trying to pulls it apart. But the creature doesn't die. It still stays there.
By the way, while I'm in the shroud, I do an additional 7 hit points of necrotic damage.
Anyone within the shroud?
So,
okay.
No, anyone that I attack with a spell or an attack.
Nice.
So 18 plus 7 is what I hit him with.
Gotcha. So it just seems more effective as his skin just kind of burns slightly from the negative shroud that you have going on. It doesn't seem quite as effective versus the ghouls, but it still damages him.
All right. So that's a complete action for as far as an attack is concerned. So it's not a bonus action.
You have a bonus action.
So can you give me the setup of where everyone is? I'm attacking one guy that's in front of me. Where is Hildebrand? Behind me with the swords?
So basically,
and then, is there...
you are at the top of the staircase. Okay, Hildebrand you're slightly in front of it, maybe 5 feet away from the edge of the staircase. Hildebrand is behind you, spinning around, kind of tracking from side to side while you're in front. In front of you is a ghoul. This creature's slashing, hacking at you, but its front end is all burned open as you hit it with the arcane magical energy that you hit it with. The no, I want to say hex, but it's not. Whatever your arcane
Right.
spell was. And then behind him,
Right.
15 feet towards right in front of your room is the ghast. All the other ghouls ran out the window because you feared them.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so for now, with that blast hitting that ghoul and that attack being made, I do not want to move back because I don't want to knock Hildebrand down the stairs. Because there's no way that, I mean, unless you could allow me to incidental to pat him on the shoulder to move down the stairs, but that's still going to put us at disadvantage because we're going to be on low ground. So I gotta kind of stand my.
Yeah, I mean, it's all what you want. You can pass through Hildebrand Square. You can always pass through an ally square. There's not a problem with that. No. But like you're saying, though, you would be down the staircase. So if you ran all the way down, force them to come to you. I don't know.
No, I think I'm going to stand my ground because I want to kill that ghast.
Okay.
All right, so that's it for me.
Okay, so our dwarven friend, Hildemar?
Yes, I'm going to pop around and attack the ghast with my short sword. Bam, bam. So I miss both times because I am garbage. I rolled an 8 and a 7, and I get a goddamn +4.
Wow.
This is some bullshit.
Wow. Yeah. So you
even
hack
playing?
And you slash. Your spinning routine is somehow causing you to miss. Not to mention that when you slash at the creature, half of its chest is missing, so your blade just kind of goes through air where it should have hit, but didn't. Do you want to do anything else, Hildemar? Do you want to cry in the
I kind of like say out of the side of my mouth, no one tells Axis about this.
You hear from down the stairs. Nobody hears what? Don't tell Axis what? No. Alrighty. So the ghoul in front of you, Val, hisses and then lashes out with a double claw attack again. It rolled a 7, which is a miss, and a 9, which is also a miss. Okay, so he slashes at you. You deflect it probably with your blade, just knocking him aside as he tries to lash at you. There's some sparks off your blade as the claws are really extremely strong and sharp, but it doesn't actually die.
So the one that Hildebrand was attacking and the one that's in front of me are the same person, and that is a ghoul, correct?
It's a ghoul, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, ghast and ghoul are pretty interchangeable. Really, it's just the powers that they do.
Right, yeah.
The ghast, the one by the door, which is your room, the door to your room, Val, it just happens to be that's your room. You see it kind of like turns, smiles at you, winks, and then it climbs out the window.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
Okay. And
okay,
Val, it is your turn.
All right, I'm going to Eldritch Blast one more time.
Yeah.
I just want to get this. I want to get this school out of my way.
Yeah, I recommend.
I rolled 12.
12 is a hit.
12, so that's a miss.
No, it's a
Oh,
hit.
it's a hit. All right. So 2d10, 13, but I don't do the additional 7 because I can only do the additional 7 once to live in the shroud. So
once.
13 total.
Okay. 13 though?
Yeah. Once. Yeah, one. Yeah, you only get that bonus 7 once.
Yeah, your blast of energy courses through it, sending it right through, shattering its spine, its body. It kind of almost launches it back about 5 feet as it slides. And you see its body begins to just shatter and break apart. And then it lets out some sort of scream as if its soul itself is being rended from its body. It kind of shoots, and that negative energy kind of launches towards you and is absorbed by your blade. And then it just crumbles to the ground.
Yes. You would see me like spin my blade, and then like I would throw the blade up in the air, and then the blade would just find its way into the sheath by itself. And then I'd look at Hildebrand and I would say, "We must tend to your wounds now. They're coming. Let's go downstairs and go see the Paladin."
Yeah, I don't fight at all. I completely concede. And are the rooms clear?
At this point in time, okay. Sorry.
Are the rooms clear now, or are there still more up here?
The
So
DM shrugs.
We can't see. I'm gonna peek in
You
the
can
open
only
room.
see into Val's room, and you see
Yeah.
a broken window and the door's open.
Is
There's
there a
two
sheet on
doors,
his bed?
2 doors that are closed on your left, and then if you go around the corner, there's 3 other doors, and then there's a whole other section of the corner down there.
Is there a sheet on his bed?
Last you checked, you can't see it from where you are because the bed's on the other side of the room. But
I'm gonna get something for these wounds, and I'm gonna walk in, and I'd like to try to make a survival check to see if there's anything I can get to stop bleeding. Maybe make the medicine checks a little more bountiful instead, so we don't have to spend our healing. But I'm just gonna see if there's any supplies that I can get from here to use for medical reasons.
Okay. You brush past Val after he just told you to go. He kind of eyes you with a strange look, probably, as you pass him. You walk the 15 feet towards where the door is. As you come around the corner, you hear, and a creature leaps upon you as you come around the corner. Fuck, why would you go into there?
What he's doing?
Oh, man.
So is that a no?
He rolled a 22. He never even got into the room, man.
Yeah, I think that hits.
A ghoul hits you from the side, and then he rolls a 12, which is a miss.
Did we ever leave initiative order, or are we still kind of in it?
Well, we'll just keep the initiative, yeah. So a ghoul leaps at you from the side that was waiting around the corner for you to walk past. Hits you for 9 piercing damage. You have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, I've got this. Don't worry, I've got this. I don't got this.
Fuck me in the goat ass. Jesus Christ. Are you trying to kill yourself? This is not.
No, I just thought I could go in there and get some sheets, but that's not worth it.
Yeah, so so Val, from your point of view, you see your dwarven friend kind of moves forward. He steps just as he passes the corner, that cuts to the right. A fucking arm reaches out and just slashes at him, and then slashes at him again. And one of the hits, you see the door goes, and then just stands there paralyzed. And you see like the creature just kind of goes down on all fours, and it's just at the edge of your vision as you're seeing it around the corner, and it looks like it's going to get ready to pounce on you.
Is it right within 10 feet of me?
It is. It's around the corner. It can't see you technically, so. But if you come around, you can go up to it.
All right, so so he's a stone statue completely still now.
Right. It's more just musculature is tightened. You can't move, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm holding my short sword.
Yeah. I'm going to turn the corner and attack this thing that attacked him. Yes.
Okay, so you move up to Hildemar's position. As you spin around, you see not just one. There's actually 2 ghouls. One is a little farther down. It's coming out of the room that's on the far end, which would have been your room. You're on the far end over on that side. But the one in front of you kind of hisses, like sharp pointed teeth and a long tongue kind of hangs out in front of you. You can make your attack roll, whatever you want to do. It's going to make a saving throw. It rolled a 16 for a saving throw. I believe that makes it. Yeah, it needs a 14. So yeah, so somehow it avoids your fear. Though the other one is close enough, so I'm going to roll for him. He rolled a 11, which I believe is a fail. You see he comes out of the room, looks at you, and then goes back into the room. So he disappears from your sight. And then you can go now, as this creature is just kind of staring at you. It's actually almost just ignoring you, and it's looking at the tasty dwarf that's
I don't want to waste any costly spells yet because I know it's going to get harder. So what I'm going to do is I'm definitely going to use Eldritch Blast again.
That's your bread and butter, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's all right. So here it goes. Here's the attack. Miss. That's the end of that. But I'm going to take a move action to pull away from the dwarf and let because I have to turn a corner, right? And the dwarf is here.
Yeah.
I'll say the dwarf is here. He's here, and I have to turn the corner so he can see me. I'm going to go back around the corner.
Okay, so you're
I
gonna
want to see what.
basically take cover around the corner. Gotcha.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so you duck behind the corner. Hilda, as you're Hildamar, as you're catching it, you see out of the corner of your eye. I mean, you're paralyzed, but you can still see what's going on. You know exactly what's happening. You see Val come into your vision and then disappear again, leaving you there to face off against the ghoul in your paralyzed fate. I can imagine you're like, fucking asshole.
Actually, when it first started happening, I was actually, since I can't move, I was glancing to see if he noticed it. I was like, please tell me you didn't see that. Oh, how embarrassing.
How embarrassing. The
I might be
lashes
still,
out
but I
at
am
you.
flushing. I'm like blushed.
You are paralyzed, so it's plus, he's got advantage. So a 19, that's a hit.
That's a hit.
And a 15 is also a hit. Shit. All right. And he does auto crits. First one is 7 piercing damage. And no, it's not 7. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is 7. Yeah, plus 3. Yeah. And 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 points of slashing damage. You don't have to make another saving throw. Well, actually, you do because it's your turn, so you can try to break it. If you're still alive, I don't know if you're alive.
I am.
Okay. Yeah. The creature lashes out at you, slashing and trying to bite you. It clamps onto your other arm and then kind of rips off some of the skin and the armor pieces, and then kind of hits the ground. And it kind of hisses. It's almost it. You could tell it knows that Val's there, but it doesn't care. It's just going to kill you since you're so close to dying.
I have an 11.
For your saving throw?
Yes.
Yes, you break free. You just start moving. Perhaps the pain caused you to move.
I use the dodge action, and I don't even make eye contact with Val. Instead, I'm running towards the stairs, and I just go, run!
Okay, yeah. So you hit the staircase. You want to disengage or you want to dodge?
Dodge. Or disengage. Okay. We're not in a crowded hallway anymore, so I'll disengage.
Yeah, there's only one, so you want to disengage?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it doesn't slash at you. It can't hit you as you back up, swinging your weapons back and forth, preventing it from slashing at you. And then you beat feet. You run down the hallway as fast as your little dwarven legs can move. You hit the staircase, probably drop down several as you're coming down.
Now, is there a damage type that these guys are doing, or is it just piercing and slashing?
Just piercing and slashing.
Okay.
Yeah,
let me know if anything energetic gets into the mix, any kind of element.
Okay. Yep, will do. Yeah, I usually make sure I tell you what type it is, so you can. That's why I separate it. I don't just say you take 25 damage. I give you the different. I don't know what kind of armor you have or damage reduction or whatever. So Val, yeah, you're around the corner. The dwarf takes off, disappearing after fending off the ghoul.
It's about time. Okay, so I would ixnay the shroud as a bonus action, and then I would run down the stairs toward my dwarven friend to assist him. In doing so, that would be my dodge action.
Okay.
I'll have it. I mean, I don't know if anything's going to surprise attack me, but can I declare the dodge action as I chase my dwarven friend?
Yeah, that's fine. You can dodge.
Boars.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically you're coming up behind him, but you're maintaining the rear guard by maintaining your dodge in case it doesn't. The creature that's on the side of you, he can't hit you because he can't see you. He knows you're there, but he can't take an attack of opportunity because you have coverage from the wall, the corner. It never came around. It just stayed where it was. So never moved around.
Oh, it did? Okay, so that was the impression that I got, is that it was still there.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't use the dodge. Okay, all right, forgive me. So can I retcon that, and I'll be behind the dwarf walking with him, and as I'm with him, I'm kind of talking, I'm almost shunning him out of anger because he didn't listen to me and withdraw back down to the Paladin. And as I'm shunning him, I take out a little bottle of water from my pocket. And you see me like crush a little piece of metal in my other hand. I combine them together and they start to glow. And then I say some incantation like, "May the Raven Queen protect you from now and forever." And I drop this powder on his head, and at this point in time, he has protection from evil and good.
Dun, dun. Okay, so you have protection from evil now on you. Andre, you can tell him what the effects are. I don't know what the effects are offhand.
I got it.
Oh, okay. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures, aberrations, celestials, elemental, fae, fiends, and the undead. Protection grants several benefits. Creatures of those type have disadvantage on attack rolls, which is what I was going to fucking do before you left away. But against the target also can't be strong, frightened, possessed, or possessed by them. If the target is already if the target is already charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any saving throw against the roll effect. That's it.
Okay. Excellent. The creature.
Now, one's like, forgive me.
Yeah. So that's all you're gonna do, right? Because you cast your spell and you moved. You did all your stuff.
Well, my incidental would just be like to smack him on the back of the head, and I would say something like, "No, don't fucking run away again. I told you to take the lead, not jump into the rooms and start shaking hands with the undead, you fool."
Right. You want to go back up there?
As you're going
no.
down this, that's an incident.
Okay.
So as you're coming down the staircase, you hear the creature comes running around the corner, up onto the wall, comes down, and it slashes at you, Val.
And me, okay.
It
Yeah.
has disadvantage.
So it rolled an 8 is a miss. Oh, Jesus. A 7, that's also a miss, yeah. So it slashes at you twice, missing you. It's frightening at how fast it moves and the fact that it kind of rolls up on the walls and comes down, but its attacks seem ineffective at hitting you. So our dwarven friend is up. Hildemar.
All right. I may have made a boo-boo.
Yeah.
And realized that I have not been rolling with the proper modification or modifiers because I don't normally play two-handed.
Oh my god.
So, not that it would have made a difference, but there was supposed to be a +2 on every attack.
Your proficiency bonus?
No, the as long as I'm using a one-handed melee weapon in each hand, I get +2 because I forgot
Nice.
my fighting spec is dueling.
Two-weapon fighter. Dueling, yeah. Actually, dueling, you can only get +2 with a single weapon. You can't have a weapon in the other hand.
Oh, okay, good. Then I didn't mess it up.
So technically, you didn't mess up, yeah.
Okay. Is the creature... Now, I'm with Val. I assume the creature's within my melee range.
Sure, you can spin around Val and attack you.
I'm going to attack him with both and then just leave. And see if he'll spend the attack of opportunity on me so that he can't attack of opportunity on Val.
Sounds legit. Make your rolls.
And I just want to make sure... Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay. Here we go, chat. I crit. Oops. Hit the wrong one. And... Okay, so my second attack was only an 11. Did that hit?
11 is a miss.
Okay.
So you get 4 attacks, technically, right?
No.
You get main hand, offhand, main hand, offhand?
Oh, yeah. Because, that's right. See, I don't normally
full
play
attack
duelists.
action.
Yeah. So I got a 22 to 11, a 6, and a 15. I imagine the 15 and the 22 are the ones that hit.
Yep.
Okay. So 7 and 9... Oh, 7 and 6. So I have a total of 13 damage against him.
That's with the crit?
I have to add a d6. That's right. Oh, wait. No, I didn't crit because I didn't use that spell. I was going to use it. No, so just 13. I'm going to save that spell for later.
Yeah. So your blades cut into the creature, knocking it back, but it seems to be holding its own. It doesn't seem to be as affected by the piercing weapons as you'd expect.
And now I'm going to head down the stairs to see if I can antagonize him into an attack of opportunity.
Sure. As you move, it slashes out at you. Has disadvantage to hit you. Ooh, a natural 20. And an 8. So the 8 misses. Okay. He had disadvantage, so the 20 doesn't count, which sucks for him. Yeah, he slashes at you, missing. You draw the opportunity like you're expecting. You get to the bottom of the staircase. Takes you no time at all. It's not like it's a huge staircase. You see that Axis is still standing in the center of the room. Your dwarven friend is hiding behind the bar. And you can hear scratching coming from the door next to you.
And the moment that I hit the bottom of the stairs, I immediately try to play it off like nothing's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure you standing there with the blood dripping off your body from multiple wounds and scratches across your face doesn't say anything at all. Ax's eyes kind of go wide, and then we cut back to the top of the room. Val, what are you going to do?
I am downstairs now. Is this correct?
No, you're at the top of the staircase.
All right. Are there any creatures close to me within attack proximity?
There's a ghoul behind you. Yeah, it followed you basically as you guys ran to the top of the staircase.
And you could hit him as hard as you want and walk away. He will not be able to attack of opportunity you because he already used it.
You sword wasted attack of opportunity on the dwarf as he ran away.
All right, so then I descend down the stairs to level ground, so it can come down toward me either next round. But when I go down to the bottom of the stairs, am I close to the dwarf?
Yeah, I mean, you'll fall right behind him, so you'll be right next to him when you go down to the basement.
All right, I will hold the dwarf's shoulder, and I will cast darkness upon my belt buckle.
Okay.
And the way it works, the reason he's called Val the Dark is because he enshrouds himself in darkness, but he has devil's sight.
Mm-hmm.
So he can see through the darkness, but nothing can see within the magical orb.
How big is the darkness?
I stab at the darkness. Just give me 1 second. Spells. Just trying to find it. It is a 60-foot radius. Actually, 60 feet. Nice. So 60, like a 60-foot orb, and it encompasses me and the dwarf. And I basically whisper to the dwarf. I say, "If you have any potions or anything to heal yourself, do that now while you are in my shroud. I can see them, but they cannot see me."
I've got ale.
"You are a useless twat." And he just starts walking, pulling the dwarf toward the paladin. So the black orb of darkness is come. I'm sure that the paladin has seen this, but he is pulling the dwarf. So the paladin would see this gigantic orb of blackness coming towards him, and he would most likely assume that it is Val. But Val is pulling the dwarf, so the dwarf stays with him, protected in the center of the radius of this orb. So if anything comes to attack us in there, they're at disadvantage.
Yeah, it's not a problem. I mean, when you came down the staircase, Axis saw you cast the spell, so it's not like he doesn't use it.
Okay.
And it encompassed him at the beginning. He was less than 30 feet from you, so it's not like it does anything. You pretty much are almost covering the whole bottom of the stairs, bottom of the inn in darkness. And so, because it's a radius, it's upstairs as well, so even upstairs.
So then what is this big monster? It's still at the top of the stairs?
You can't see. Right? When you come down the staircase, you can't see upstairs. No, you can't. You literally can't see through the stairs.
Oh, I see what you're saying. He's still upstairs. Okay.
Yeah. He hasn't come down. I mean, you can see. Fine. Yeah.
No, yeah. There's no enemies downstairs now, correct?
There is none that you can see. No. And that creature has a couple of seconds have gone by. It hasn't come down the staircase.
So I whisper to Hildebrand and I say, "I will take you to the paladin who will heal you. While that takes place, if anything comes toward me, I will use my crossbow. But that is what will keep us safe for now. You must be healed, my friend."
You'll have to use your crossbow because I can't see in this shit.
I know. And unfortunately for you, that's actually good. When you did have your sight, you made foolish mistakes, and you talk on it more.
Listen, I didn't make a mistake. I can't work under these conditions, okay? I didn't prepare for this. Fine. Axis! Where are you, Axis? And he's looking around.
You feel, you hear, "I am right here." And it's like right next to you. As a ballad brought you right up to Axis. And then you feel a warm hand touch your head and kind of like hits your ear at first, but then kind of pats you in the head.
Axis, and you feel like be you, or I swear to God.
You hear him whisper something, and then there's a burst of energy that flows through you. The sound of battle can be heard, but it's more of a victory battle. As his god's power flows through your head into your body, you feel your cuts kind of sealing. You feel the blood getting drained back into your body. He casts. You heal 14 points of damage. I know it's not a lot, but
It is, and here's my question. The spell Absorb Elements says the spell captures some of the incoming energy, lessening its effect on you. However, the only lessening it does is damage done to me. So, I'm going to absorb the radiant energy and put it in my short swords.
I hate this dwarf.
I'm not really sure that healing is a positive energy attack. But you know what? I like
It's the type.
You absorb
so
it.
healing... Oh, is it healing or is it radiant?
Healing is not radiant. Healing
Oh,
is
okay.
healing.
See, this is not working. That won't work.
But I will let you totally take away your healing energy to charge your swords. I have no problem with that.
No, this will probably be the only time I ever want to get touched by Axis, so I'll just take the 14 and keep my head up.
Yeah. You can always ask your warlock friend to hit you with some fire or something if you want to absorb that. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to you want to do the retroactive attack, yeah. When you get hit by the energy, you release it on the next attack. I got you. I use the same thing. All right. Nothing comes from downstairs, though. Besides the breathing and the mumbling of the dwarf that's coming from not only the dwarf at your side, Val, but the dwarf behind the bar who's grumbling about being in pitch black. He can't see either. You hear the sounds of scratching, just kind of perpetual sound of scratching, and just the hint of moaning coming from the doors, not only to the main doors to your right, but the door that comes down by the staircases, as there's undead outside scratching at the doors.
I look at the Paladin and say, if the nature of the beasts that we saw upstairs are just the younglings of what is outside, this will be our last day.
I'm beginning to understand why the people here pretended like they didn't know anything.
Axis is like, why do you believe that?
Because
What?
these things are tough. That's all you'll get from me.
They're bad.
They're very bad. They're geniuses. They're very smart. I'm not taking effect of the dumb mistakes I made, but I treated these like dumb undead, and they are not dumb undead. They know strategy. They don't seem to work on a hive mind. They baited me.
Perhaps.
Oh, and then I say one more thing, and I say, oh, and I'm out of spells.
Well, why'd you go and do that?
Because I have no way to protect you from within this place besides burning the Paladin.
I don't need protection, he says as a piece of a scale mail hits the ground. And he just kind of like fumbles to pick it up.
Yeah, Axis steps a little bit closer to you, Val, and says, if you wish me to heal our friend, I need to be able to see him to do so. I do not know how extensive his injuries are.
I will walk to the other side of the room.
Okay.
Right, so I walk
You
to
find
the back
yourself,
door.
you move way over to the hearth area. That's like the farthest way you can get away from them. And they kind of move towards the staircase, unless you want them to move towards somewhere else to get away from you.
I thought I pulled the dwarf to where he was.
Right.
We're not gonna sit.
Axis was only about 25 feet from the staircase into the room where you went.
I see.
Go in the kitchen.
So, no, well, bear with me, because I believe I can, as a bonus action, I can decrease the size of the darkness, though.
Oh, that would be rad.
That'd be nice, yeah.
That would
way
be
it's
rad.
still up.
Yeah. Yes, it's anywhere, it's range of 60 feet to 15 feet. So I can decrease it down to 15 feet and then walk across the room.
Okay. Well, I mean, when you do 15 feet, it's very tiny then. So you just move, whatever, 20 feet away. You don't need to get that far away.
The actual mechanics is as a bonus action. You can point to another object, and then the darkness orb will go there.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm just going to keep it on me and walk.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it's silly not to have it on you when you can see through it.
yeah.
So Hildemar, you're standing there, still feeling trickles of blood leaking down where the scratches are on your face and stuff, as well as your arms. There's an odd pain as whatever saliva the creatures had where that bit you is probably some dirty and poisonous, as these undead creatures are probably infecting you, which is probably a lot of the pain and injury that you have is from that, as opposed to just pure physical damage to your body. You notice your friend Axis, he kneels down in front of you, and he kind of like, you see his eyes kind of go wide, which is probably the most expression that he ever makes. He seems to be always kind of monotone and static with his reactions. He's like, what did you do?
Hildemar holds his hands up. It's not as bad as it looks. On a scale from 1 to 86, I'm at about 30.
I would put you closer to a 75.
How much do I owe you?
You owe me nothing.
You say that, but I always owe you a favor in the end.
Well, I will tell you about my god later, and you will have to listen for at least an hour.
30's good. 30's good. All right, fine. Hit me with it.
Okay.
This better not.
So he reaches down, and I'm not sure he would have done it, but I'm going to do it. So he lays his hands upon you, one on your forehead and one on your chest, and you see his eyes roll back in the back of his head, and as divine energy flows out of him, you feel that energy just coursing through you. You heal 35 points of damage. Actually, you know what? 30. Do 30. I'll save him. Keep him. Let him have 5 left just in case he needs it for something. Because Clay's not here, and I don't want to take away his. You might want to save a couple points here and there to bring someone back to life. Some of you like to die.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. And then with that, he begins praying. And then once again, you hear the sound of combat in your ears as his god answers his call for prayers and healing. Warm energy flows over you. It's sort of euphoric.
I think the look that Hildemar is giving him is one of like uncomfortable feeling, because every time he's like, "Here, let me heal you," and his eyes roll back. You feel the warmth splash all over you, and he makes it weird. No other paladin has ever been like that.
Yeah,
he really turns up the weirdo factor, and he's just like,
Yeah.
all right, are we done yet?
Yeah, and I mean, he doesn't
very-
just place his hand on your forehead either. He kind of
does like
rubs
circles,
your chest.
right? And I'm just like, all right, this is getting a little weird.
So when you get done with the weirdness, you heal another 21 points of damage. So I'll use one of his higher level spells. I don't know how badly damaged you are from there, but if you're okay,
I need one more hit point, and I look at him and I go,
right.
"Is that all?"
As he stands up, he flicks your head. You heal one more. Yes, you're fine. So Clay has
And
4
then-
left.
And then I take a step towards Val, but this is like in 80s movies, like it's all slow-mo. I'm like, yeah, boys back in business. And I walk up and I'm like, all right, plan D.
You're staring at the big black orb in front of you. And you're saying
I walk in, I walk
he
in and
walks in.
Okay.
I'm like,
Okay.
plan D, Val.
So he's standing there talking to your left side, not even to you. He's
Yeah, I'm
like
not even
looking to the
facing
left,
you.
yeah.
I'm pointing at a coat rack.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, your plan of me going
Val's
first.
completely looking away this way. He's like, what?
Your idea of me going first didn't work.
Yes, but
Now,
it saved us both.
listen, we'll chalk that up to mismanagement. It's fine. I suggest we go up there and you
Mismanagement?
go. Yes, me go first. The one with the bow. That's genius.
Oh, you're muscular. Burly.
These are for show. You know that.
Nice. You got him good. That was awesome.
Listen, you go first. and I shoot from behind.
Fine. You see the orb start to move away from you, and you just like, the orb is now going upstairs.
So before you even make it across, as you're getting closer, as the orb gets closer to Axis, who does not want to be inside the darkness, kind of moves away from you, kind of staying 15 feet away. But as you're within closer, he's like, you hear, Val, perhaps we should stay together and not separate.
And within the darkness orb that now engulfs Axis, Axis would feel a hand grip around his arm, and he would say, "You come with me. We'll go together."
If you drop your darkness, I'll be more effective.
Oh my god, this is so weird.
Don't worry about it. I'll drop it when the time is right. I will position you where it is best for you to be.
Oh my god.
Trust me.
But you only faced undead beings. I can take them out, no problem. That is
Yes,
what
I
I did.
understand. But they will not be able to see where we are when we go upstairs if I place you within the best proximity so that they can all see you and drop my orb. You can turn them off.
You see, you're the only one who can see it because you're in the darkness.
Hildemar's
But you see-
rubbing his
You
face.
see
like,
his eyes. He reaches up and he grabs the bridge of his nose, which is probably another, you very rarely see him. He's like, Val, we are companions, but I would prefer to see where I am going. Not that I think that you would sacrifice me to the Raven Queen. And then he kind of looks off to the side and looks back at you. But I believe that it'd be safer if I walked up there by myself and you two stayed down here.
Deal.
Sure. Go upstairs. I'll be right behind you and I will not move the orb.
Yeah. So he turns. He kind of walks out of it. He's not quite towards it, but he's got pretty good direction. So he kind of moves towards the staircase. And once he's out of it, you're creating a block so your dwarven friend can't see what's going on. Because you're blocking off the room. So you got the dwarf on one side.
Well, so, all right, you know what? Fuck you both. I dropped the orb. Everybody can be seen now.
Axis turns on you and he's like, we don't really need to be using that sort of language, Val. Come, let us kill these undead.
Val looks at Axis and just goes, "Go."
Axis turns, looks back at you, and then looks forward, and he starts going up the stairs. What are you two gonna do?
Hildemar looks at Val and just sees the rage on his face. And always being socially awkward and probably not minding cues when he should, he puts his arm on Val, almost patting his back, and he's like, "What a fucking killjoy!" And he walks up the stairs. This guy.
Val looks for any torches.
There are no torches per se. There are lanterns in there that you can take that have lit. You can grab one of them off the wall if you want.
I will grab a lantern.
Okay. Yeah. So you have a lantern. Yeah. As you,
I look back at the dwarf. I look back at the dwarf. And I hold the lantern out and I go, "Val the light." And then he just keeps on following the paladin.
no.
He looks at the dwarf, and then he looks at the ground floor of the first floor. He goes,
Yeah. No. The door kind of just kind of shrinks away and kind of goes into the kitchen. Oh man, this is so bad. You notice that Axis moves quickly up the staircase, faster than you'd expect. All of a sudden, he starts running, and then you hear him almost yell, not a yell as in "oh" or anything like that, more like a kind of a monotone battle cry. Aha! And he runs up the staircase, brandishing his axe, and then you hear him running up the hallway.
"Oh, And Val just continues up the stairs.
All right. You're gonna go with him there, Tildamar?
Oh yeah.
You said the dwarf left this main room?
Yeah, he went into the kitchen. After getting a creepy look from Val, you're not really sure what that was all about.
He kind of
The
narrows his eyes.
the dwarf got the hint.
Kind of narrows his eyes and goes upstairs. Doesn't like leaving the main room unattended.
Really? You don't want to just leave it a big, huge, empty space with undead everywhere? Can't blame you.
Let them come.
You know what he does?
It's
Actually,
all-
he starts to go up the stairs and then he thinks about it. And you said there's a lantern or two. I imagine they're what light the place.
Sure, they're all over the place. Yeah, keeping the place lit. Yeah.
And is there anything above the door, like a lucky symbol or any kind of like, you know, sometimes a lot of taverns have like superstition with a nail or something where something's hanging above the door.
Yeah, surprisingly, there's none in this place. You don't know if that's because they're not superstitious or they've never got a chance to put anything up yet.
All right. I'll be up there in a minute. And I grab a stool and push it in front of the door, climb on top of the stool, whip out a dagger and stab it above the door frame.
Okay.
And then hang this lantern so that if somebody were to, say, bust through the door, this giant flammable lantern will land on the floor and ignite the room.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then I
Brilliant.
move the stool away and then just walk up the stairs whistling.
Yeah. As you do so, you remember that you open the bullseye lantern so that it's at least open so the flame will be exposed when it falls.
Absolutely.
And then you trot up after him. Val, you and Axis, who's in front of you, running down the hallway, you chase after him. You see he runs into your room. He's like, and then runs out of that and runs to the next room. And you're just following along as he keeps going into the rooms, ready to attack something that isn't there.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, Val's just like, find anything.
Axis comes out of your... Yeah, that would have... No, not your room. Would have been Hildemar's. As he comes around, and he comes out, and he's like, there's nothing here, just broken windows.
That you did not, by chance, glance outside. Did you, Master Axis?
He looks back at you. No.
Is there anything that you can deal with that is fucking coming up here again?
You see he walks back into the room as you kind of follow him and look in. You see he goes up to the window, sticks his head out, looks around, looks down.
I was like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Hilda doesn't say... Hildemar says nothing. He's just like...
Yeah. As the two of you are waiting for something just to grab him and yank him outside. But he pulls himself back in and looks, he says, yeah, there are many undead outside. More than what I can kill at any given time. And there are some other beasts that I do not know what they are. But they all seem to be just standing there.
Okay.
That's...
We need to check something. Check all the rooms. Let's see if they've been sifted through, looted. See if anything is amiss. I mean, the suite was a pretty nice place. Maybe we can check there because I don't know about you, Val, but it does seem like they were looking for something. They didn't charge us when they had the opportunity. They stayed in the doorway. The ghast was just staring at us.
Perhaps the people of this place have an arrangement with the undead.
Which would make them evildoers, am I right?
No evil schmeevil. The point is that if they do have an arrangement with the undead, they would not have much to fear. They would be quite casual.
Which means they know more than they're telling us, and they know somebody to talk to.
Or they have good reason to be casual about the undead, which they have yet to reveal to us. So I say we go question those individuals that are downstairs, if there is no more advancement upon us.
As he finishes saying that, you hear a rumbling, kind of a.
God damn it, Val! Didn't you have any of the boar before we got here?
I did not.
The whole inn begins to shake. You're not thrown to the ground or shaken, but you manage to just hold your own, the three of you, and then the whole place kind of rumbles and stops. Then you hear outside, you hear the sound of exploding dirt and earth, an explosion of huge amounts of force as something is just explosion outside. You hear the sound of wet body parts and beings slamming against the outside of the building as they're coming down. And then it kind of quiets down, but then you hear...
Oh, I'm not waiting any more time. I run to the window at this point.
Yeah, as you run to the window, Axis does the same. He's the closest. Are you going to go there as well, Val, to look?
No.
Okay, you step back. The rest of you, when you're looking outside, you see a huge 14, 15-foot tall demonic creature with tiny hands in the front and huge claws on the sides. It kind of reaches up. It's reaching up to the heavens, and it just lets out a roar. It kind of reverberates inside you. Fear kind of strikes you as this creature seems to be extremely powerful and scary. And with that, we're going to take a quick break because I have to go to the bathroom and a bio break. If you guys want to take
It's 20 minutes early from the halfway point, but I agree. I'm going to use that time to read my player's handbook on how to play a ranger properly because, god damn. Talk about botching that up. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I can't hit things with my longbow. I'm like, and I think if I continue to miss my attacks, I'm going to be forced to wear the Stormtrooper helmet throughout the rest of the campaign.
I think you may have to.
But yeah, so stick around, chat. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Does that sound good? 10, 15 minutes? How long does it take, John?
It doesn't have to be too long for me. That's a good amount of time.
Yeah, we'll do a 10-minute break.
So
hopefully that'll buy some
chat
time.
knows you can watch them get ripped apart by a demon with massive claws. Should be fun.
Yeah. Does the demon cause paralysis? If so, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, I love that those CR2 creatures caused you so much problem. It's just ridiculous.
Look, I don't want to hear about it, John. Chat, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in the meantime. Bye-bye. And we're back, everyone. The illustrious crew of the Haunted Inn, here to actually win the battle against the darkness. Hey, we defeated that at least.
Yeah. You faced off against the ghouls and did well.
All right. So, Axis is first out the window. I peek out the window. We see this giant. Now, does this look like a giant, or does this look something demonic?
No, this is definitely a demon. And in fact, Axis whispers. You hear him whisper under his breath. He's like, Glabrizu.
Oh, friend of yours?
No, it's a demon type. A very powerful demon.
All right. You know what the name of this inn was, right? I think we need to have a go have a word with our patrons. Not hide in the cellar, just having a word with them in the same spot. I wouldn't say it's hiding per se, but I think they have some explaining to do.
Axis ignores you, just turns away and looks at Val. Val, there's a Glabrizu outside. A large, massive one.
Do you have any good news?
It killed
Not
a bunch
indeed.
of undead. I point to the body parts all over the inn.
I have no idea, but I suspect that the people of this inn are in some way connected to this demon. I agree with our dwarven friend. The Dancing Demon Inn must have a connection to that demon that is outside. I say we burn the fucking place down.
Do we hide in the cellar or do we go out the back?
I am not confident that we will escape this night. It is a question of how to choose best to die. He takes out his sword. I say we go talk to the people in the basement and find out why this place was called the Dancing Demon Inn and why there is a fucking demon outside now.
Axis turns, looks at the dwarf, then looks back at you, and he says, we must destroy it. That can't run wild out there. There are innocents around.
What do you think? You're trying to tame an elk? If it is as big as you say, we are not going to be able to thwart it. There must be some reason or way to either turn it, or subdue it, or thwart its interest in this place. But for some reason, a fucking demon wants to attack the Dancing Demon Inn. I say that's a ridiculous coincidence. We must either go down and talk to these people and find out what the connection is, or find a place to die.
The cellar has alcohol.
Jesus Christ. Axis
could
looks
die
over at
down
you
there.
and kind of shakes his head. This means nothing. We need to stop the demon.
All right, listen. You are the most diplomatic one of the group. Would you agree, Axis?
I am not argumentative.
Excellent. I want you to go in the cellar, and I want you to find out what the people know.
Oh,
I feel better if I was out killing the demon. And as he says that, you hear a yell, and it's a human. You hear, quickly now, lads, kill that person. Do it now. And then you hear people fighting. The sound of blades in metal being shorn through undead beings outside. Axis runs to the window.
I run downstairs.
I
I'm
go
going to see
downstairs,
if it's
yeah.
the people that...
I need to
Cellar,
see if
yeah.
the cellar is open.
Okay, you guys go downstairs. All right. You run past the doorways. You hit downstairs. You could hear some stuff going on outside. You kind of run past it, go around the bar. As you go into the kitchen, you see the dwarf hiding behind like the big iron pot He's like got that in front of him. He's like, what the hell's going on out there?
Well, have you looked?
Fuck no.
I hear humans. Fuck no. I just walk up to a window and go see what's going on outside.
There are no windows downstairs.
Oh,
there are only.
No, were we in the cellar?
No, remember this
cellar
was a fortification. Like, there's no windows
right.
on the lower story. Yeah.
So I would turn to the dwarf and I would say, is there another township close to this inn that would come in case there was an invasion from the undead? Would anyone aid you?
No, there's nothing within probably 3 or 4 days, at least, to the nearest city.
He's a traveling merchant. He doesn't know.
No, I'm sure it's 3 to 4 days.
No, I'm talking about whether or not there's someone who would aid them. We're talking about you know what? You just... Listen, if there's any deal to be made, if there's any rescue force to be had, he wouldn't know, but the people in the cellar would.
Can I talk to the people in the cellar?
Yes, and if they're undead, you can kill every last one of them. We've already killed Timmy. There's already blood on our hands.
I want to say that someone yelled from downstairs, his name's Thomas, but no, you don't hear it.
Good, they're not undead. That answers that.
All right. Okay, so Val goes up to the bar and gets another barrel, I guess, or something, some type of flammable liquid. Or is there any liquor that
pretty much emptied the entire liquor in the main room?
The cellar has it.
There are casks in the cellar. A
well-placed lantern on a wooden barrel might.
Okay. So he takes a piece of his shirt and dips it in the liquid that's on the floor in the living room, and then wraps it around an empty bottle with no liquor in it. All right, and he just places it at right next. Wait a second, is your lamp still there with the door?
Yeah,
there are lanterns all over the place.
Wait, we made Molotov cocktails, and he goes to the bar and he's pointing to all the bottles that we prepped.
Yeah, you got like 12 bottles.
Yes. Give me one now. And then he takes the lantern and he puts the lantern right next to the cellar door, or a little, within a close proximity. And then he pushes the cellar door open and he yells down, "Are you safe? Is everything okay?"
So you open the hatch? Or do you just yell it through? Okay, so yes, you pull the metal bar off and then you lift it up and you yell down there looking. There's still a light shining, but you don't see anyone down there.
There's an escape route.
Do you want to take it, dwarf?
Escape? Me? Yes, of course. And he lifts up the door a little more, but only me right now.
All right. Take a cocktail with you.
Always. And he kind of takes it. You better give me another. I haven't been able to hit anything tonight. He reaches for a second one and takes his second. Yeah. And then goes downstairs. And
don't forget the lantern.
Oh, actually, you know what? I don't know if I need it. Hang on.
There's a lantern down there. You can tell.
I don't need it. It's fine. I hold up my tinderbox.
Okay, so you grab your tinderbox and you start going down the stairs.
Wait.
Yeah, my idea of having him keep the lantern is because if shit gets hairy upstairs and he needs it to ignite the inn and then follow me under, he still has that option.
Sure. All right. So you climb down the 15 feet to the bottom. You drop down to the floor and spin around. You see a large 20 foot by 20 foot dugout room. It's all dirt, probably around surrounding, not quite as big as the foundation, but it's probably maybe the size of the kitchen area that's been dug out. You notice that it looks like it's reinforced with stone around the outside edges. They probably put that in for foundation. But in front of the stone walls that are all around you, you see are just against this farthest wall from the ladder is a section of casks, all just stacked up of all different types. So some of the larger ones probably for ale or beer. Some of the other ones are for oil, as well as some that are probably just small things of whiskey or other beverages that you might have. You also notice that on the left side, it's all foodstuffs, all on shelves, all types of like rice or other stuff. It's just grained and packed up and put up to the side. And then hanging around, all around the whole thing, is a whole bunch of just different types of herbs and stuff. Some rare, some not so rare. But the herbs are just hanging there, as well as on the right side, there is a large amount of other foodstuffs. Mostly looks like dried meats and stuff that are up on shelves that are wrapped in what looks like some sort of wax or something to protect them.
No sign of the people, right?
As you spin around, you look straight ahead. You see you see Torad just standing there. He's in his armor. He has his helmet on, and he's holding the bastard sword in both hands. And he's just kind of staring at you, but he's not saying anything.
I'm going to test him by going and stealing the rarest herbs and put them in my bag. But I'm keeping my guard so that if he moves towards me, I'm ready.
Yeah, you reach up and grab some of the herbs. You kind of stuff them in your pouch, ready to, attack him if he attacks you. But he doesn't move. He just stands in that position near the wall. But he doesn't actually move towards you.
And no one else is down here.
You do not see anyone down here. What's your perception? Make a perception check for me.
Absolutely. And is this towards finding secret passages? Because if it is, I have another ability I can use.
That's investigation.
Okay, perfect.
I just need your passive, like a
all right.
Perception.
Yeah, 13 is my passive. If you want me to make
I need you to actually roll. I want to see.
So an active one. Let's do that. All right, chat. Here we go. Let's laugh at James. I rolled a 3, so I got a 6. I don't disappoint.
No, so the minimum's 13 because that's your passive. So with 13, you don't quite. You don't notice really a lot. You do see that you notice that he doesn't seem to move or flinch at all as you're moving around. In fact, he's not even really almost looking at you. He's almost just standing there.
Okay, then I would like to use my history check because of stone cutting and search the room and see if I can find if there's a secret passage.
Okay.
While keeping my eye on him. Yeah,
How
I'll take as much time.
How close are you going to get to him? Searching the room, given that you would have to go up to
I
him.
want to make... If he's guarding the entrance, that'll answer my questions, so I'm staying outside of Bastard Sword range. I just want him to advance on me if he's going to advance on me.
Okay, and you have stone cutting, so... you notice that as you're looking around, as you start probably to the closest one where the ladder is that comes down, that's opposite of where he is. You kind of look past the shelves and all that. You don't see anything looking through them that looks like it's a secret passage. Then you check the other side. You still don't find anything. You search the other side. You don't see anything. It only leaves that one wall where he's standing.
Torrid, where are the others?
You see, when you say his name, his head kind of tilts and kind of looks at you. And he says, "You cannot pass."
We'll see about that. I pull out my tinderbox, I light the Molotov cocktail, and I throw it at him.
Sure.
I'm not even going to scramble up the stairs quite yet until I see how big the explosion from all the other flammable stuff will be.
Okay. Roll. Need to see whether that hits him.
I'm probably not proficient with this.
Nope.
So, this is going to be great, chat.
It is. It's going to make my day.
17.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, it slams against
You know
him.
what? I
It
throw a
shatters.
second one just to be sure.
Sure, you get 2 attacks. You might as well.
I roll a
this
3.
guy.
You lit them both?
No, the second one I didn't need to light because there's already a fire.
You would have assumed it would have been. Okay. So the first one hits him. It hits him clearly on the chest. And as it does so, it explodes into flames. Strangely, he doesn't move. He stands there on fire, just kind of looking at you. You can see his face kind of grimaces a little bit, but he doesn't move as he catches on fire. The second one flies wide, bounces off the thing, doesn't even break, hits the wall, fucking hits the ground, and kind of rolls around in a circle.
Foul!
What?
Val, can you come down here and kill Torrid?
What did they? Why am I killing Torrid?
Oh shit! And I'm gonna go into initiative because I'm gonna fire him. I'm gonna attack him.
Yeah, go ahead, roll.
Initiative is +1.
You don't even have to roll. You can just attack him.
Oh, well, if that's the case. Oops. Why does it do that? 2. There it goes. All right, so my first attack is 12. My second attack is 19. My third attack is 6, and my fourth attack is 22.
Yeah.
So everything hits. But 22 and the 19?
Yeah.
So 12 damage.
12 total?
Yep. Maybe with the sound of combat, Val will stop asking 20 questions and get his ass down here.
You run forward and you begin smashing him. You see that as he looks at you, he doesn't, like, you run up to him, but you don't try to, like, he doesn't seem to deflect it or try to block it or anything. He just takes the hits. And he makes a sound when you hit him. He's like, ugh! As your blades hit him and stab into him, he kind of bounces out of the way. So, like, but his armor deflects a lot of the attacks that you hit him with. But he's still on fucking fire, and he is burning. And you can see even, like, the one good eye that he has is starting to just kind of melt in his face. He's just standing there.
I descend.
Yeah. So Val, you come down, you kind of drop down to the room. You smell and see the flaming, burning man who's just sitting there. And you see your dwarven companion kind of lashing out at him with daggers. I mean, with short swords, poking him.
I immediately kick the flaming body away from my dwarven friend.
Okay, yeah. So you walk up and you kick him. And when you do so, he kind of goes backwards, bounces off the wall, or at least the shelving that's there. And then he kind of comes forward. But when you push him back, he steps forward and he lets out a roar that would be a roar, except that it's more just kind of a gurgle. As there's nothing. He can't breathe. He's on fire. He's got flames coming out of his mouth. And he kind of swings, but it's a half-ass swing, and he just misses as he slashes at you with the bastard sword. And you see he takes a step, and he seems to be like barely standing now.
Now, I'm assuming smoke is starting to billow up the top of the ceiling, and it's starting to fill the room.
Yeah, luckily the ceiling
cover...
are 15 feet, so you have quite a bit of room at least.
Okay. With that point, Val would say, "Where are they?" And then he would start backing up with his sword in his hands, and then he would say, "Hildebrand, let's go. They're not here."
Hildemar knows.
I like that his name's Hildemar.
Hildemar knows exactly where they are because he won't let me pass. He specifically said that. He's still standing in front of it, isn't he?
He is half standing now, as he seems to be just crumbling. The flames are burning him.
So I'm going to let him attack me, and I'm going to use my stone cutting to see if there's something behind him that he was trying to protect, because he said something that I shall not pass.
Yeah. So as you step forward, kind of giving him a little bit of a shove, he kind of falls over and hits the ground. He lets out kind of a, but he dies. The flames just eating through his entire body. The wounds that you had stabbed him with kind of bleeding out as he dies. You apparently don't really care, so you just step over him and begin searching the wall. Immediately you notice where he had smashed against the wall, where Val had kicked him back. It's kind of broken and dented, but you notice that it swings, and you pull that open, and you see what looks like it looks like almost like a paper mache thing that's been placed there. It looks like the stone. You couldn't really see it because it was behind the shelving.
It's this shit.
You just rip it. You just rip it down. Yeah, exactly. You just rip it down, and you see what looks like a tunnel. It's about 6 feet high by 3 feet wide, but it's definitely like a man-made tunnel, and it goes into the darkness.
And I look back at Val.
Says,
"Go ahead."
Hindenburg. What did you find?
I'm going to pretend like you said it right. I found an entrance. Come with me. You know the wife was the one always in charge. She's the one who knows.
Oh, stop.
And, yep. And while you're at it, I will. While you're at it, I need you to go find Axis and get him down here because he's busy at the moment.
All right, so Val will depart and go get Axis as the dwarf goes to inspect the entrance that they have just found in the basement. And we will pause momentarily.
Let's give Clay a second to get settled in.
There's 2 Jameses. Oh, he's in a car. Well, wait, we may not have to add him. Let's see what he's doing first.
I'm good. I'm going to be in the car because be about an hour before I get to a computer. So I've got my dice roller app on my tablet. I got my camera. I'm ready to go.
That is baller.
That's hardcore right there.
Clay is hardcore. He gets inspiration because he's fucking hardcore.
That's it, bro.
Honestly,
That's
though,
what
you
I'm
have
talking
been the MVP of the evening. So.
I do what I can.
Yeah, I hope I did you justice. I didn't try not to. Just so you know, your lay on hands, you only have 4 points left.
I do what I can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Val couldn't stay out of trouble, so.
So let me catch you up real quick, Clay, just so you know where you are. So Axis, there's a lot of shenanigans that went on, but let's just go from the point where your group separated. You were upstairs on the 2nd floor. You're looking out a window that had been broken in by ghouls as they had attacked. You didn't actually engage them. You were downstairs, but your friends engaged them, and that's where your dwarven friend got his ass kicked, and he came downstairs, and you had to heal him up, basically. That's why you were missing some of your healing. I wanted to say that out loud again for James, because I know he needs to hear that he's getting his ass kicked by ghouls, which are so weak that nobody should get hurt by them. But he managed to
Listen,
almost
I've
die.
been playing a lot of Star Trek Adventures since I prep my campaigns. Lower numbers are better. I haven't adjusted. Okay.
So there was an explosion, a roar, and when you looked out, you saw, excuse me, you saw a Glabrizu out there. A massive double pincer, 2 tiny armed dog-like being 14, 15 feet tall. It burst through the ground, throwing undead everywhere as it just didn't care. And it just made a roar. Your friends, you were trying to get them to go out and fight the demon because that seems to be more of a thing you would do. They decided they wanted to go talk to the people in the basement. So they went down that way. You were standing by the window. Now, what they don't know happened because they went downstairs and they have their own little adventure down there. But you upstairs have seen a group of 6 men, all on horses, come riding in, and they're attacking the undead, pushing them aside. And one of them wearing what looks like purple robes. He has a symbol on his chest, which you recognize immediately as a symbol of the eye, the bleeding eye, which is the symbol of midnight, which is an opposite faction from what you are. But you're at peace right now between them. But you see he's pointing, and you see all the men are kind of attacking, and he's like, kill that thing. The demon has turned and begins like stepping forward to attack them as they're getting it. You notice that some of the men appear to be just kind of like men-at-arms, maybe, as they seem to be having trouble just dealing with the zombies and skeletons that they're riding through. But the man holding up with his shield and his mace, and he kind of points the mace, and you see holy flames come down from the sky and slam into the Glabrizu as he yells out a prayer. It knocks him back a little bit, but the Glabrizu just kind of goes and then he holds up his hand, and you see something happens. He says like some sort of word, and like all the men just kind of freeze except for the cleric with the mace. And when they stop, the undead just rip them apart, as there's some sort of power word was cast off by this creature. So Axis, what do you want to do? Do you wish to run downstairs and get your friends, or do you want to leap out the window and be heroic?
I think they have it outside. I'll go downstairs and get my friends.
Okay. All right. So you run down the staircase and you get down just in time. As you go into the kitchen, the downstairs is nothing, just this slick oil covered floors that they had put down for the and then you guys can continue from there. Val, as you're climbing up.
I thought she. I see him as I'm climbing up the stairs. I thought it was his go. I thought you were explaining this.
No. He just
All right, so
you were climbing up and he's looking down, so you guys can meet and decide what you want to do from there.
I look at Axis
quick,
and
guys.
I say,
I hit a hotkey and muted the stream, but basically Clay saw these 6 heroes outside. I just muted it for a little bit. Saw the 6 heroes outside engaging with the undead, and then Clay's character Axis turned from the window to head downstairs to meet up with us in the cellar.
so as I come up from the cellar, I see Axis and I say to Axis, the people of the inn are no longer in this cellar. We have found a secret passage, and from the fact that there is a demon outside, I suspect there may be some form of summoning chamber underground. Shall we proceed?
That is a lovely idea. Apparently there are some knights outside handling the demon. We shouldn't interfere with their job. Let's go. And he'll follow you down.
Well spoken. And Val will go back down the stairs to go help the dwarf.
Yeah, as soon as Hildemar sees that you're coming down with Axis, he points at the body and goes, he fought. He engaged combat with me, and I put him down.
So, Axis, you see the burning corpse of Tordek on the ground.
I'll say a prayer over his body. Shall we continue?
Yes, please. Let's. So Val, at this point in time, will look at the dwarf, and he will smile brightly, and he will say, "Do you not want to take the lead again?"
Actually, I do. And he narrows his eyes. And you said this was dirt.
Yes.
I would like to make a survival check to try to track the group. And I know it's pretty obvious where we're going, but I think the reason why I'm mainly doing it is because I want to make sure that there's no other types of footprints. Like they don't go from shoes to claws or nothing joins them. So I'd like to roll a survival check on that.
Sure. You don't even have to. It's clear what the footprints are that are there. You see about maybe 7 sets of footprints, which fits with the number of people that were down there. All booted in some form, usually soft or padded, maybe one set of heavy booted, probably maybe Tordex. But you notice that they kind of head off in the general direction down the tunnel.
Axis, looks like your girlfriend's still alive.
I have many. Which one are we referring to again? Again, it's totally slipped his mind about the bar wench earlier. After seeing that demon tear up these knights and stuff. I didn't like the order anyway, but they seem to be handling it, so he's preoccupied. Which one?
The one that was supposed to... I don't have time for this. And he just continues to push on.
Okay, and who's going to go second down the tunnel? Basically, I need a march.
Val.
Val is going to be second.
Val would... No. Are you kidding me? Val will bow gracefully and take his hand, place his hand forward, and he'll say, "Please, Master Paladin, support our friend."
I shall. Let the light shine. I'll cast my light. So my armor starts to glow and like a beacon for all these dark beings down here. And I'll step forward.
What do you...
Sure.
Well, there goes the element of surprise.
Were we not supposed to face? It is cowardly not to sneak around. We should face these on even ground. Onward! And he'll step forward if you stop and raid.
As he steps forward and moves his hand, you can see Hildemar flinching away from his hand, like, "Don't touch me again." Let me lead you.
Okay, go on. Go.
Let me lead you. I can search for traps.
All right. By all means, go ahead. I will dim down just slightly.
There's a dimmer switch. He's like, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna move forward and I'm gonna try to use my perception to listen out for any voices, anything. And I I immediately hold my hand out, and we've already talked about this when we went hunting. We've been with each other long enough to have hand signals.
Yeah, no problem.
Tap my lips, bring my hand, and then lower it so that they only whisper to each other, especially Axis. I make eye contact with Axis first, then point to his lips and do the lower. And then I move forward, being as quiet as possible to see if I can hear them breathing, talking, echoing. I can roll a stealth check if you want me to.
No, you move through pretty easily. I mean, it's not, people might not notice you, but they're definitely going to hear your Axis friend who is making a ton of noise behind you.
Yeah,
so.
that's why I wanted him to chill.
Yeah. Plus he's glowing, so that doesn't help you out too much. You move down the tunnel. It goes about maybe 60, 70 feet. And then it seems to end in what looks like another one of those fake doors that you saw that were blocking the ones that look like the stone paper mache or something.
I'm going to poke it to see if it is, in fact, flimsy and not...
It's hard, but paper mache likes hard.
So it's the same kind of material, like a wasp hive.
Quite literally, yeah.
Carefully, I take the short sword up, and I try to do it as tall as I can, but I take it, and I'm just going to cut... I don't care if I have to do sawing action, but I just want to cut it to where it'll flap forward so that I can see out of it and then push it open if need be.
Okay. Yeah, you easily cut through it.
Because I don't see how they opened it, and they didn't have to destroy it going through, so...
Yeah, you feel that if you push it, it goes up and just comes back down.
Oh, it's one of those stupid things. Oh, it's like a flap.
Yeah.
Got
it's like a
it.
flap.
Okay. Yeah, I pushed the flap open.
Okay. So as you lift it up, you see it opens up into a lit room. And the room is 30 feet by 20 feet across. You see three beds with 3 chests. And laying on each one of the beds is a girl. One is Kara, one is Sarah, and one is Laura. And they're just laying on the beds. And you notice that on each of their ankles is a silver chain that goes from the bed post up to their ankles. It looks like it holds them down. You see across the room, there's a whole section of the wall that is just covered in chains. But you notice that there's just blood, brownish blood that's been sprayed, like all just splattered against the wall, I guess would be the best way to put it. You notice that on the far end, from when you're looking, as you're looking out, you see one of the farmhands. You see that he is hanging there by his arms, but his whole lower section of his body has been just torn apart. You see one leg over on the right and one leg on the left.
Is there any way I could roll a nature or survival to see if this scene of graphic violence is something that I've seen when encountering werewolves or something of the like? Because the fact that they have silver chains makes me think that these may be some sort of creature like vampires or werewolves that are restrained by it.
Yeah. You would have to investigate the area to kind of get that survival check. So you have to enter the room. As you're standing there, the girls have all turned their heads towards you, and you see that they're kind of sitting up, and they're kind of like holding their hands up now, going,
"Shit, I can't get Axis and Val in here because they're very noisy. So I'm going to approach the girl that I hooked up with Axis, and because we have a rapport, and I'm going to try to sit next to her and just be very, very quiet. Be like, "What is all of this?"
Okay, so Axis and Val, you've gotten the hand signal that said to wait. Are you going to wait?
Axis will turn to Val. I hate when he does this. I always have to sit here and wait and not do anything while you scowl at me. What is going on? And he's like getting agitated because he saw this death, and he feels guilty because he left. Strategically left. He didn't retreat or fail, but he left. How long are we waiting?
You're muted, Val.
First, I don't scowl.
As his webcam
as he
freezes on the scowl. That was perfect.
There is a second. If you would put down that light, we may be able to go ahead quite stealthily. But if you want to bring the fires of the sun with you, everyone will know we're down here. Then he
Okay,
goes,
we'll do it your way, and he'll dim out.
Beep. The light goes out.
and then he says, "Now, let's use what our dwarven friend calls dwarven stealth."
I've
And
heard of
he's
this.
just like, let us proceed and see if we can assist him. He obviously will need our help. And Val takes out his sword, and then he just like starts walking forward very slow.
Okay.
Axis will give him some time. He'll dust off his robes. He'll polish up his armor, and he's ready to start clanking in there.
Okay.
But he'll give them enough time to do something, maybe a round or two before he comes charging in.
All right. So during that time, Hildemar, you've made your way in. You've sat down next to Kara. She's looking up at you, and she's like, "Are you here to save us? They went crazy. They killed everybody."
Which people went crazy?
She's like, "It was one of the men." And she looks over, like, kind of at the farmer. She's like, the other one, Torum. He went crazy. He grew horns and just started attacking everybody.
And what do you expect me to do? Look at you. You're chained up. Where are the
Yes,
keys?
please free us.
Where are the keys?
She shrugs. She's like, I don't know where they are.
I'm going to try to coax an answer out of her and go, well, I'm going to need you to be very quiet. I'm going to get you out of this. And I take the blade of the short sword and run it down her leg, almost seductively, but just to where it goes, shink, to her ankle, where the manacle is. And then I hold it up, nodding yes slowly, like I'm going to chop her foot off to get her out of the handcuffs. Because I'm trying to see if she's pulling a fast one on me.
Yeah, you see a look of horror comes across her face, and you hear her sisters are all go, like,
And then
I
do this, you know.
And as you do that, right as Val's coming in, you see you holding the sword above her head as Val pops in. And looks
right above her ankle.
Yep.
What are you doing?
I was testing them. They appear to be hostages. They've been They've been chained up to the... Oh, don't worry about this mess. They've been chained up to the bed. Apparently one of the farmers went crazy and murdering everybody. Who built this place? He's asking the girls.
Why are you yelling?
I'm not. It's yell whispering.
It's stage whispering. She's like, she's like, my parents. She's like, my parents built this. And right then, I think that Axis comes barging through the door.
Come clanking in, clank, clank. I am here to save you, ladies. What are you doing, friend dwarf?
It appears that keepers of this establishment have some dealings with demons, and they are sacrificing the people of this town. At least that is what their daughters have just told us. We must find
Sacrificing
the
virgins?
No. My
See,
parents
they're not
didn't kill-
virgins. See?
We know
No.
they're not virgins.
Yes,
No,
obviously.
no.
She practically
That's-
threw herself on you, Axis. Ladies,
Wait,
please.
but
We're trying to
but-
figure this out. I'm going to
but
need you to be
no-
quiet right now before I cut your foot off.
Uh,
Now,
oh.
they're not virgins, Axis. Not everything is pure.
That's not what I've been told.
Hang on a minute. And I get down and I pull out a piece of cloth and I'm like, there. And I like dab her head with, dab the sweat off her head and then shove the rag in her mouth. Shut up. Val, continue. You're probably the only
Tears
smart one in
coming
this
down her
room.
face.
Shut up. We're trying to save you. Val, continue.
Oh my.
It appears that we must find the innkeeper and his wife. They are the ones who have perpetuated either the sacrifices that have occurred over the...
I raised my hand.
What?
Oh, we found the
What?
innkeeper. He's dead now.
What? That's from the other girls. You what?
Oh, hang on. I go to the other beds and I pull out rags and I shove it in their mouths.
You see the girls
can
kind of
you-
like look over at you, and then they kind of reach up and pull the rags out of their mouths. They're like,
So Yeah, Val has had enough. Val has had enough. He goes up to the Paladin and he pulls the Paladin real close to him and he goes, "We have to kill his wife now."
It is wrong to
Come.
kill a woman. Even if she is bad, she can be redeemed.
We have to pretend to kill her.
You want to pretend to kill her.
You must capture her and then give her to me when you are done capturing her.
What? What are you going to do with her? Something dark and nefarious?
Never, and I would never lie to you.
He looks over at the dwarf that he's been doing and all the chains and everything else and the rags in the mouth. And that is right. I think he has been corrupting you, Val. We must be careful of this dwarven ways.
That is true. So you give her to me. Don't give her to the dwarf. But once you capture her, you give her to me and I will bring her to justice. Agreed?
You'll bring her to the courts. Agreed.
Yes, I'll bring her to the courts. Good.
Are these chests
Let us
locked?
go and find.
Real quick.
No, you move over, you kind of look at them. They don't seem to have any locks on them now.
I'd like to open them to see if there's any supplies, maybe some magic ingredients, sacrificing implements, things like that.
Sure. Over the din of the crying women, you reach down and you open up the nearest chest at the bottom of the bed. When you pop it open, you see it is full of body parts, and the smell coming out of it is horrific. Maggots, flying flies, and biting bugs just kind of fly out of it as there's rotting flesh everywhere.
I slowly shut it. It appears there's nothing of value in these chests.
You are going to rob these poor folks? Look at the condition of these ladies. Ladies,
Actually,
let me help you.
I was
And
looking
he'll
for
cut
supplies.
some of the chains off.
Okay. So you go over, you notice that you could swing at them and cut them. They're made of silver, so they're really not that strong of a metal comparatively, especially since your sword and your strength. Or you could just kind of pop them off. It's your choice, however you want to do it.
We'll pop them off and cover them up with the rags that are around there.
Okay. Yeah, so you get in there and you kind of just leverage them and pop them open, breaking the locks that are holding them. It takes you a couple seconds, and then the girls kind of huddle together, the three of them, but they huddle really close to Axis as he finishes. They're like, thank you. Can we save our mother? Can we save her?
That is the goal.
Of course. Yes.
And then they kind of just hold close to you. Axis kind of just staying as
He
close
starts
to
to preen a little bit. His chest sticks out a little further, and he just kind of poses a little bit when they're looking at him.
you notice that they just kind of stay closer, but they don't say anything or do anything. You can just hear that slight sobbing sound that they're making now. But they're definitely using your awesomeness to try to hide behind your protections.
Well, my dwarven friend, where are we going now?
Again, I'm going to use my survival to see if I can follow tracks that are leaving, particularly ones that look bloodied.
So as you begin searching, the first thing you notice is that it's not hard to find tracks. There's so much blood just seeped into the ground and the floor, enough to make almost like muddy footprints, but mud, like just so much blood. And you see the footprints go towards one of the walls and then disappear. It's fairly obvious. And even as you're heading over there, you hear one of the women, there's a fake wall right there. They kept going out that way.
Axis, please shut up your harem. I am trying to work.
My name's Laura.
I think I'm going
Ladies.
to try a different approach. I walk up, I'm like, Laura, I like you. You're not catty like the others, are you?
No.
Then
What?
shut your trap! And then he goes over and tests the wall to see if it's the same paper mache material.
Axis will try to comfort them as he leaves. Yes, he is senile. Yes, he is rude to the ladies, but I am here to protect you.
They get in close to you, holding you. Not too tight, but I mean, they're kind of walking with you. You can feel them, like, one of them probably has your tabard, probably just holding on to it, and the others are just kind of like staying close to you on either side.
Please do not blow your nose on that. It is silk.
Okay.
I poke the wall to see if it's the same paper mache crap. Oh my god, a demon cat.
That's why I can't see you guys, because she's standing in front of me. So Hildemar, you go up, and it's definitely one of those paper mache things. It moves. You can lift it up easily and out of the way. Now that you know what they look for, they're really easy to see. If there's a wall or something in front of them, they're, it's not bad of a disguise. I mean, it's not like it's better than a blanket or something, hanging there.
I didn't notice it when I first went into the cellar. The only reason why I caught wind of it is because their dad that mysteriously died of ingesting too much barbecue and alcohol. So I'm gonna poke it open and point to Axis. You stay here with the girls. They're gonna be our best bait. I mean, they're gonna be rescued. We need them. Okay, Val, follow me.
I'm giving you 30 seconds, and I'm coming in. And then he starts to glow a little bit.
Ooh. As you lift it up, one thing you notice is that even though the paper mache blocking the concealed door is upwards of 6 feet, notice when you lift it up, the tunnel is only 3 feet high. You will have to crawl through this to get to the other end.
I put the paper mache down, and I turn towards the women and say, "You've got some explaining to do. What tore these people up? It was not a man. Did he turn into anything?"
One of the girls, specifically Kara, the one you had spoken to originally, she says, "I told you, he turned into some sort of creature with horns and like hoofed feet."
A goat.
Oh, no.
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 He starts thinking.
Jesus.
Does that also eliminate blackhorn sheep?
Yes. It wasn't a sheep.
I'm lost. You got anything, Val?
I don't care what it changed into.
That's good to know,
In
because
the
if it's
slightest.
a crocodile and we go crawling in there, you're going to be glad you asked these questions.
How far is the tunnel? Can you see its end?
He can't.
You know what? Here. I'm going to go in there. Small little holes are kind of our thing. And he thinks about it and wishes he worded it differently. I will come back for you. And he gets one sword, puts it away, and starts crawling on the ground as he's going through the tunnel. He's like, "Come on out. Good job," they say. "Escort a wagon train to Tyr," they say. And he just keeps crawling deeper in. And there's blood in the bottom of this, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he's just going to keep going.
Okay. So he disappears. Val, what are you going to do? And Axis, what are you going to do?
Val is going to wait.
Okay. And Axis?
Is trying to calm the women by singing a song, a hymn of his god.
Okay.
What does it sound like?
Yeah.
He's not very good. He'll say, "Yeah, because he never studied and he didn't really pay attention.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that one video of Christopher Walken reading Poker Face from Lady Gaga. So I'm just going to go until I see something. I'm trying to find out if there's any creature, anything.
So Hildemar diehards his way through the tunnel. It takes you a little bit of time to crawl hand over foot in that tiny place, but you don't feel out of place. I mean, it's a tunnel. You've been in millions of tunnels throughout your dwarven life. It's not a big deal. Plus, you're a ranger. You're used to climbing through caves and caverns.
Yeah, and I'm a hill dwarf too. We weren't necessarily the mountainous style dwarves.
Yeah.
This is kind of our jam, is making little tunnels to our kingdoms.
So after you travel the 80 foot or so in that tunnel, it kind of opens up into a room. There's no covering to it. There's no concealed door. You just kind of plop out of it. into a large dugout room. This room is about 35 by 45 feet across. The ceiling is just under 6 feet, but you notice that in this room there is a small how do I explain it? Think of like a raised dais, and on that dais is a some sort of, looks like a skull, perhaps, just resting on it.
Okay.
As you pop into the room, it's not lit, so you're seeing all this in your dark vision. And there's also an exit that leads to the north.
Are there any small vermin?
We can assume that there's something like a small rat or something.
I never selected a ranger's companion, so I think I'm going to pick up the rat and spend a moment with it and try to convince it to go get my friends.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to talk to it and see how well it, behaves. And I want to try, I don't know if you want me to roll something to tame it, but I want to try to tame it.
No. No, you can totally start taming it. That's
but
fine.
I'm going to pull...
It takes a while to do that, though. You can't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'd rather not shout down the hole. If we're talking a while, like maybe 5 minutes.
More like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
Fucking rat, and he throws it on the ground. Guys, it's clear. It's 80 feet
the
long.
rat bounces off the wall.
Oh, Val, your camera went out.
Oh, no.
Well, actually, if my camera goes out, does the gray screen come up? Because I had to shut my camera off for a moment.
Yeah, it's at Val the Dark, yeah.
Good. I'm still here. Good.
That's no problem.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm actually going to go, hey, come out here. Camera's going to be a little jumbled up until he gets back, but that's no big deal. Come down here. It's 80 feet. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you can clearly hear him. The smallness of the tunnel kind of makes it echo enough in that direction. Almost amplifies it in a way.
Okay, Val proceeds and he starts.
Okay, so Val, you get down on your hands and knees and begin crawling through the tunnel. Axis, what are you going to do?
Ladies, come with me. And he's going to go first and take them with him.
You see, they kind of like balk. They're still kind of holding on to you, but they balk, like they slow down. They're like, we can't go through there. Can you take us to the surface?
You might get eaten by the demons. At least this way we have a chance of surviving.
What demon?
Well, there's a big demon out there back where you guys' inn is. Not a very good place to be. Come, let us go.
No, but and they're looking, and you can see that they are afraid. Even with your presence there, I mean, climbing through a tunnel one at a time is not something that they want to do.
We can wait here, and I'll try to come back for you.
And then they begin whimpering like, "We can't leave us. What
Then come with me." He'll glow. He'll start to glow. See, I will light your way. Come.
Okay.
Hold on to me, and he'll go through.
All right. So as they reach out and grab you, Val, you pop out the other side. You're now standing next to Hildemar. Hildemar, you while you were waiting, you probably looked around the room a little bit. The few things that you saw during the time that Val made his way through is that the skull is actually, you don't know what kind of animal it is, but it's a large skull. And it's in the center of some sort of silvery circle. There seems to be some sort of image or something etched into it. Definitely radiates a certain magic to it. Maybe not any magic you know of.
This must be the chamber that I suspected was here.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that, Val.
Well, what do you intend to do?
1 second. As you guys are chatting to each other, you hear some noise.
I'm going to pull my blades out. My 2 elven short swords.
Clay, what is your armor class?
19. Or 18 without my shield. I don't have my shield with me.
Oh, God. That's the most foreboding thing next to roll for initiative that I have ever heard.
But just because I'm a dick, I do have the girls behind me. So if it's coming behind me, I've got a barrier.
That's true. Okay. So as you're bending down, you kind of hear a female, kind of a cry, almost like a painful cry. And then you feel a sharp pain and several hits, 3 to be exact, as 2 of which deflect off your armor, but one of them hits you and it sinks deep into your shoulders. You take.
He'll turn back. What bit him?
You take 32 points of damage, piercing damage, and you have to make a Constitution saving throw. As you spin from the pain and the multiple hits, you turn and you see the 3 women are now, they look decrepit and skinny. They have bloated stomachs. Their bodies are extended extremely long. They still have their red or blonde or black hair, but on faces that are completely feral and disgusting. You, as a paladin, recognize them as mains, but there's something about these. They seem more skilled, and each one of them is brandishing a dagger that they've just stabbed at you with.
18.
Okay, so you feel that when the dagger had hit you, you felt the burning sensation as some sort of poison was being injected into you, but you managed to just push it aside as you spin.
So we're still in that room, yeah?
Yeah, and we're going to roll for initiative. You guys hear the sounds of fighting. It's pretty obvious. The scream, the yell, the metal, the daggers on armor sound. And though Axis may not have screamed because he's a manly man, he probably went "Ugh!" or something, and that's the sound that you've heard before in these battles. So Val and Hildemar, you all can roll for initiative because you're eventually probably going to go down the hall or something.
All right. Let me do that now.
And what'd you get, Clay?
I got a 12.
A 7.
Oh, jeez. And
16. 16.
Val? Excellent. Okay. So the surprise round goes off. Val, you hear the sound. Somehow you kind of pick it up and you kind of react really quickly. You know, it'll take you 2 rounds to get down the hallway on your hands and feet. But just looking down there, you see what looks like Axis, who's glowing. So he's lighting up the back end of it. But you see something like 3 somethings stabbing at him over and over again.
I was right, wasn't I?
You were. And I cast Eldritch Blast through past. Can I cast it past Axis?
Sure. I'm going to give them plus. They're going to have half cover. So.
All right. So it'll be actually that. I critically failed.
Wait.
Oh,
one moment, please.
wait,
Bountiful luck.
Wait.
When you...
Wait. No,
Oh.
sorry.
When an
Wait.
ally you can see within 30 feet of you rolls a 1 on a d20 for an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can use your reaction to let the ally re-roll the die. You must keep your new
20.
Oh, so now you get
20.
Natural
Yes.
20 or
No, just 20.
30,
no,
20?
no. Yeah, 30, 20.
Okay, so yes, the 20 hits, smashes into it. Somehow, as you're about to see, you see that ray is going to smash Axis in the back of the skull. But at the last second, it sort of shifts and hits the creature that's standing on the other side that you really can't see, but you know it's there.
6 out of 20.
Just so you know, are all 3 of the creatures crawling behind him at the same time?
He never even made it into the tunnel. They stalled him to hold him back so that you would be ahead of them so that they could attack him. They assumed they could kill him with, one sneak attack, but
he's in a tunnel right now, and I shot past him.
nope, he never
he's
left.
not.
He never got into the tunnel.
All right. So I basically Val is crouched down, going.
Yeah, you're
like
literally
that, right?
just on the other side, just firing off blasts down the straight tunnel. Luckily, the tunnel's
All
straight
right.
curve. So
All right. Yeah, that's. I would yell back to the dwarf, and I would say, "I'm gonna have to go back and help him." And after he takes a movement action and starts crawling back towards towards Axis.
Okay, well, you get a roll for damage, so I know how much damage you did to.
I rolled 6.
6. Axis, you see a ray of, well, I don't know what color it looks like. What does it look like now?
It's purple.
So your purple
flames.
ray shoots past you, hits the creature, and sort of burns and incinerates around its stomach, but it doesn't quite, it knocks it back slightly, but doesn't completely damage it.
How close is the creature to the hole of the tunnel that I hit?
You really can't tell. The way that you're looking down a 80-foot tunnel, you're seeing just lights moving around.
Not for my sake, but just for the mechanics of what's going to happen next. How close is the creature that got hit to the tunnel?
I would say it's about 90 feet.
Away from the tunnel?
No, it's 90 feet total from you to the creature.
No, like the opening of the tunnel and the creature is standing outside the tunnel that got hit, right?
10 feet.
What is it?
10 feet.
Okay.
At the most.
Good.
Because he's at the 5 foot, then there would be 5 other feet.
All right. Because I have grasp of Hadar, the Eldritch Blast pulls the creature close to the hole of the tunnel and away from Axis.
No, that would pull it towards Axis. Axis is if you think of the square in front of the tunnel, that's where Axis is. He never entered the tunnel, but he's in that first square. The 3 women are around him.
Oh, he's closer to the tunnel than they are.
He is the closest to the tunnel as he went first.
Okay, forgive me. Then I won't use that.
Okay.
All right, my fault.
And you're gonna head down 30 feet down the tunnel.
Well, if he's coming in the tunnel, I'm not going to go to him. I'm going to let him come to me.
Okay, but you're not sure whether he's coming or turning to fight.
I'm not sure, but he's not going to stick around, obviously. And there's nothing that I can do to protect him from them, if he stays there. So he has no choice probably but to backpedal in the tunnel.
Okay. Whatever you want to do, that's fine.
I wouldn't do anything at this point. I would just fire and wait and see what he does.
Okay, so after you is actually Axis. You are up, sir.
Okay. So I can cast and still move, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll cast. I think I have spiritual weapon.
That's a bonus action, anyways, to cast spiritual.
Oh, it is. So I'll do my bonus action to cast spiritual weapon for the one nearest me, and then, well, ladies, I must join my party so that we can attack you in the proper form. Excuse me. And he'll move. He'll crawl through double move as he goes.
Okay. Did you want to disengage, or you want them to get free attacks on you?
I'll disengage.
Okay. So you move 30 feet down the tunnel instead.
Yep. And I'll strike with the spiritual weapon. I think I can do it on the same round.
You do. Yep. Immediately. It appears. What does your spiritual weapon look like?
It looks like a mirror.
Cool.
So I like the screen in front of it.
Nice. So the mirror.
So I'm gonna bash him with my mirror.
Yeah, gets bashed by a mirror.
15.
15 is a hit.
What is I don't know what the spiritual weapon damage does. What is it? D6. Let me look it up real quick.
For some reason, I want to say it's 2.
I'll look it up since you're in the car.
Yeah, give me half a second. Sorry about this.
Spiritual weapon does 1d8, it looks like, plus your spellcasting ability.
Plus your spellcasting ability.
Okay.
Unless you cast it higher levels, then it does an additional 1d8 for every 2 slots above the second.
4 points.
Okay. And are you going to hit the one that was already damaged by the ray?
Yeah, I'll hit that one. Basically, it's like a wrestler smacking a mirror or glass item on someone. It shatters and then reforms.
Nice. So the mirror explodes around him and then just kind of reforms itself back above her. All right. Yeah. So it knocks her around a little bit, but she doesn't fall dead. Okay. So they go. You notice as you dive into the tunnel and you start going down, you're expecting them to be hot on your tail as you're going, but you notice that there's kind of a and then the sheet is dropped down. What are you gonna do, Hildemar?
So Andre, is Val in the tunnel?
No.
No, he's not. He just shot
Axis
in the tunnel.
Axis in Val fired, but he wasn't sure. Yeah, he couldn't go in because then it would block. Yeah.
I pull out an arrow.
Mhm.
Take my rope. Start tying a knot at the end of it.
Okay.
And knock the arrow.
Right.
And I don't know if that's spent in action or if I have to pass a turn on.
I see what you're trying to do, but yeah, so that takes up the turn. That's your attack action.
All right. And I just look over at Val and I'm like, he needs to grab this rope. And then we can pull him out.
Okay. That's hilarious. All right, so it goes back to you, Val. You see Eldemar says that, and he's holding his bow, and he's got the arrow, and he's tied a rope to the end of it, but you're not even sure that if he fires it, if the rope will stay on it.
Yeah, that does not look like the safest course of action. Perhaps we should let him crawl in here. Just as we did, he does not appear to be giving chase to anyone.
Fine, ruin my fun. And then he unties it.
And then Axis, if you keep going, then you pop out into the room. It only takes you 2 rounds, so you pop out.
Okay.
And as you guys turn around and look, you don't see anything because they dropped the door back down.
We must investigate further what this room is used for. We must find some more clues. And give the Paladin a Scooby snack. Now let's go.
I reach into the bag. I pull out some little dried jerky from the rations. Good boy. And I just plop it in his mouth while he's crawling out. You know what I mean? Like I bend down and pat him on the head and then can.
Oh God. Yep. Yeah, you do that.
All right.
I guess.
Axis.
So Axis, I don't know how you feel about that, but.
All right, so I'm going to use my investigation roll. Is that okay? Or
I think
just
Clay.
somebody-
I think Clay is.
He's not amused.
Yeah, he's not amused. He's frozen. Okay, so yeah, so we'll just assume he comes in and stands up. Val, you look around. Immediately you look, and your arcane teachings, the gifts that you've been given from the Raven Queen, give you the ability to kind of understand what this is. And it's definitely a rune that's been placed, as well as the skull of the beast that's there is something that charges it. It's got some protective runes around it, but what it is, it looks like it's a transport rune. Looks like you can teleport from one end to somewhere else, but it seems to be attuned, something that you would have to be gifted the ability to use it. It's not something you could just walk into. Now you have that information. No one else has that information.
Oh, that's fine. I got all that information without doing an Arcana roll.
You don't have to. I'm just giving you the information.
Okay, I'm just giving it. Okay, and it's a one-way portal to a place where
It's 2
Oh,
ways.
two-way. Oh, okay. But it must be attuned to the user.
Yes, to be able to use it, it has to be attuned to you. Yeah.
All right. Something is about to come here. This is a portal. Now, I cannot use it, and I suspect that Axis will not be able to use it either. However, whoever does have control over this device will most likely appear in this room soon, so we might want to prepare for battle.
What do you think, Axis? Now you're done with your girlfriends.
Yes, he'll start dumping over stuff. He'll try to make a barrier so he can prepare to fight, kind of narrow the fighting field. He's glowing again.
There's nothing in the room that, besides the portal, that could be tipped over or anything like that.
Wait a minute.
If you wish
missing
to
the
hide
mother.
to get stealth, I will be the bait.
The mother's not here, correct?
Correct.
So she went in the portal.
Most likely.
As the 3 of you look around, there's the portal, and then there's an exit to the north.
Can we destroy something like this? In your experience, Val, is trying to destroy these runes something that's plausible?
DM?
It's possible to physically destroy them, but like I said, it has protection wards on it, so you think that most actions against it will cause back, some sort of damage to you if you do it.
It cannot be done safely.
Dispel magic can lock them all out, though, if you want it, if you have that capability.
It cannot be done safely.
Add some holy water. No, splash some from his flask. Do anything?
If he looks at the cleric and he says, "Do you have the ability to dispel magic in any form or way?"
Nope.
Indeed, it cannot be done safely. We must wait for whatever uses this portal to come here to us. Then perhaps we can use it to take us back to the other side.
You feel the entire ground tremor.
It's coming.
Should I check out the exit while you guys analyze these runes further?
I have nothing else to analyze. We must prepare for battle. Whatever is coming this way is going to want to kill us, guaranteed. And he takes out his sword and he just waits for whatever is going to come out of the portal.
Yeah, you don't feel that sound had anything to do with the portal. You feel like maybe that's outside.
I'm gonna go check the exit.
I just wanted to take out my sword.
We're underground and this thing's stomping around. I want to see if there's a quick bug out hole, just in case our waiting doesn't come to fruition. So I just want to, peek out the exit, let them know what I'm doing, and move 30 feet into the exit.
Sure. As they get ready with their axe or sword, you move to the northern exit that I mentioned. And as you get there, you notice that it goes kind of downward. It has a slight slope to it. You notice that this wall is completely wet. There's water dripping down it, and there's small rivulets of it that run downhill.
There was a lake nearby, right? I could have swore there was a pond or a lake. Yeah. And I turn around and head back.
Okay. So you turn around, and they're still standing there.
We're consuming too much time. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say Axis stands there frozen. So.
All right, so I would speak to the dwarf and I would say we are consuming too much time.
Got it, and I run into the protection circle. I'm not attacking it. I'm just gonna try to shoulder it and see what happens. Keeping deft feet,
And as he's running into the circle, I was saying, "What have you found?" And then, whatever.
So there is, as you run past them, Val makes that sudden, movement and statement. And then as you slam into what appears to be some sort of solid wall, that as you hit it, it kind of rebounds for a split second and like a rubber band throws you the fuck away. You fly the rest of the way across the room, hitting the wall, and drop to the ground. You take 23 points of blunt damage as it repels you when you hit the wall.
And I just stand up and dust off. This way.
I'm assuming you found something else.
If you like going underneath the pond.
Well, it's better than going in there. And he points at the thing that just propelled him to the wall.
And at this moment, Hildemar's like, yeah. And then kind of looks at the wall and has a flashback of himself as a child, not knowing how to swim, and all the other hill dwarfs throwing rocks at him in the pond that was near his house. And he's like, yeah, better. I'll lead the way.
Oh, God. You make it worse for yourself.
So
the three of you begin moving down that tunnel. This is a normal size tunnel. It's 6 feet tall, so you can move through it fairly easily. It's not hard. The only difference that you notice that there's moisture coming from the walls as it drips down, and then it kind of goes down into a small, we're going to call it a ravine, but it's not really a ravine. It's just where the water just travels down the center of the dirt floor. It's probably been going down there, collecting there, and driving down for a while now, creating
That puts me a little bit more at ease. This has been
And you
here a
notice
while.
as it goes down, you travel about 50 or 60 feet, and you notice that, as a dwarf specifically, you notice that it's definitely a fairly steep grade to it. It's not like so bad that it's hard to maneuver, or you might.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about slipping and falling.
Yeah, nothing like that, but it's definitely steep enough where that every 20, 30 feet you go, you're going to drop down about 10 feet. So you're going deeper into the ground.
Is it,
it sort of
is it
levels
difficult?
out. Excuse me?
Is it difficult to move down? Because I'm trying to get an idea if we ever needed to scale it, is that going to be a problem?
No. You feel that even though it's like in the middle, it's slippery, but if you kind of run at the sides, you're fine. It's not anything that would be bad or anything.
Good.
Like that. When you get down to what you would consider the bottom, you see it opens up into a small tunnel that goes about maybe 20 feet. And it's kind of flattened off, but you notice that there's kind of like a certain maybe about 3 or 4 inches of water, and then you kind of step into it, and as you look, it opens up into a room, but there's just kind of that glassy look of still water going into the room.
I look back at Axis to see if he's still glowing.
Yes, he's still glowing.
And I roll my eyes and just move towards the room.
Okay. As you walk into the room, as you're moving along, the water's only maybe 4 inches deep where you are. But as you enter the room, you fucking fall. There's apparently a step or something there as you drop into the room. You fall down about 2 feet. There's nothing you can do. You just crash into the water, so you're soaked. But as you stand up, you notice it only comes up to about your waist. So it's about maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep.
For a brief moment, he takes a step down and goes, "Oh, I'm trying!" And then realizes that he's fine and just straightens his collar. This way.
Yeah. Notice that you're in a room. It's about 20 feet by only 15 feet across. Directly across from where you are, there is a man hanging. It looks like he's been sacrificed. He's also hanging against the wall, but you see that there are runes have been cut into his chest and his body. His entrails have been pulled out and then kind of splayed out and then pinned to the walls around him, creating like a macabre kind of winged version of him, but using his intestines and his skin,
like a blood eagle.
Similar, except that would be the back.
The front.
But the front, But the front, yeah. And you notice that like everything's been split down the middle, including like his genitals have been split and everything just kind of hanging out. His stomach is just resting, kind of floating in the water right there near the body. So the water has it's dark, you can't see through, but it also has that reddish tint of blood that's just been seeped into it. You notice that in front of him, there's looks like a metal platform. I mean, not metal, I'm sorry, a stone platform. And there's a few things on it, but you can't really make them out as the water seems to be lapping across it over the top of it. It's hard to really make out. That's it that you can see, though. That's the only things that you can see that stand out.
Val, I immediately want to vandalize this place. Destroy the imagery we see, and maybe we could piss it off enough that it comes down here.
Now that sounds like a wonderful idea.
All right, you dismember the body.
Let's
I'll knock
do
over
it.
the trinkets.
Fine.
And I kind of want to time it at the same time. I'm like, on the count of 3. And then on the count of 3, I'm just going to backhand everything off the stone altar.
Okay. So when you get up to the altar, when you're looking at it, you notice that there are several, just small candles that are still kind of lit because the water's not quite going above them. But you notice that there are a lot of like runes and stuff cut into it. But it looks more like a sacrificial than like you would lay someone down and you would cut them up or something like that, as opposed to it being like some sort of like you put your spell book on it or anything like that. As Val gets over to him, you notice that around the man's neck you see what looks like a symbol, and this medallion, a silver medallion. It hasn't been touched. It's covered in blood, but it's just hanging there, and it has the blooded eye symbol on it as it's hanging there. Axis kind of points at it and says, "That's the symbol of midnight."
The symbol of the men that you saw on horses above.
It would be similar to that, yes.
So this must be one of their people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Axis, you know that's true. Yeah.
So, they have come here to seek revenge, or at least rescue this individual. And we are to destroy this altar and dismember this body. And we will take this body. Well, obviously, this poor individual has been ritualized. There is no saving him now. Is that correct, Paladin?
I pick his
Yes, we
stomach
should
up.
do that. If you wish to take a whiz on the altar, you could do that as well. It will desecrate it.
I would love to urinate on this altar. However, the question remains as to what we will do with the body. And is the body been desecrated to the point in which it has been possessed, or is it going to turn, or do you want me to chop it to pieces?
We should burn it. Or dismember it where it can't move and then bury it later.
You said that there were candles around, is that correct, Dungeon Master?
Yes, there are 2 candles that are still lit that are on the.
I take a flask of oil. I take a flask of oil out of my inventory, and I pour the oil over the body. And
No, you fool!
I take the candle and I just.
I run away. I run away because oil floats on water. Like, I get back.
So the 3 of you get back because you're not.
Oh, it was underwater. It was underwater.
The water is underneath him, so the oil will drip off of him and land on the water. And I don't want.
Oh well, I'm assuming that I ignited before.
It's alright. You guys are not.
My bad.
You're smart enough to know that that would happen. So you kind of light it, but you're back away from it. So you kind of watch it. It does burn a little bit on the top of the water, like James said, but in general, it just kind of burns the body. It doesn't burn well because it's moist and wet in there, and even with the oil, it just kind of burns off and then flames and sputters, and it burns some of the skin. The hair gets burned off. A little bit of remnants of clothing that's on it gets burned off. But
the piss on the altar.
Sure, yeah, you whip it out and you just kind of urinate. You're not quite pissing on the altar because it's literally hitting the water. That's just like a quarter of an inch.
Right.
But
I do that too, but I kind of already did that when I thought I fell into a
right. So he's standing. He's actually peeing in the water because he can't stand out of the water because he's so short.
All right. One thing I do with my sword, I use my sword and I take the medallion off of the body.
Okay, so once the flames come down and it gets over there, you kind of pop up. You notice that the medallion itself has no marks on it at all. Very similar to Axe's medallion that he has, which is his holy symbol. Pretty much, they're indestructible. They can't be harmed.
I do not touch the medallion, and I place it inside my bag.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
you don't feel like there's anything. Axis knows that thing would not have any powers that could affect you or anything, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Excellent. So what do we do now? I look at the dwarf and I look at Axis, and I say, well, we are putting small pieces together in a large puzzle. The question remains is, we still have no idea what are bringing these demons here. We found portals, we found a sacrifice. What are we going to do now? We can go back up and see if we can seek the armored men and show them this medallion and speak to them on their comrade that was destroyed, or we can continue on and see if we can find more caverns.
This was a dead end, right?
As far as you know.
I have dark vision. Do I see any other obvious entrances?
The room's lit, so you don't even have to worry
okay.
about it. Axis is glowing, so it gives off enough
Oh,
light
yeah, that's right.
No, I mean, you could search if you want
I'm gonna use my history roll to try to search for something in the stonework and dirt.
Sure. It doesn't take long. It takes you about maybe 10 minutes at the most of searching the room that you find what looks like a secret door. Now, this looks like a true secret door, as the wall itself seems to push in and slide out of the way. There's a little strangeness to it because you notice that the water in this room, unless the water is equal on the other side, as soon as you open that door, it will flood whatever is on that side, other side. It's what the DM always loves is when the entire group is thinking about how to deal with
Okay, hang on. I gotta... Let me make an int check.
Sure. Make an int check. I know you're going to pass it as a dwarf.
Holy shit, I rolled a 0.
So what is the best idea that your dwarf comes up with for dealing with this door?
I'm gonna open the door. There's a secret here. And then I open it.
Okay. So he knows how to get the latch and he pops it. And when you do, there is a rush of water. It sucks you through
And all
the
you
door
hear
and
is,
you are gone. As you go down the hallway, slip and slide style going down. So the water seems to be receding at an extremely fast rate as it's going down. Your dwarf disappears. Axis and Val, neither one of you get sucked in. You weren't close to the door, so you're just standing there.
I dive in.
You're going to go after him? Okay.
I'm going after him. I run after him.
Okay. You feel like the water will run out, there's only so much water.
In the echoes of you following after me here, I'm Daddy.
Axis will take his time, down on his ass because he's wearing all this armor, and he'll just slide his ass until it takes him.
Okay.
Hopefully nobody's in the way when I start picking up momentum.
You guys can actually, those of you who weren't sucked in, can actually just walk down. It's a hallway. It's just a slight thing. It's just that there was just so much water just yucked through. You would think a water slide?
I'm not retconning it. Val dives and lands on his stomach, but just doesn't go anywhere.
Listen, don't retcon it. Val needs this, okay?
Val heroically leaps after Hildemar some strange reason. And you hit the thing, and it's not quite as steep, and you kind of slide slowly down, but you do slide. I mean, there's still water rushing past, so it does help to propel you. So you do get to the edge, and as you slide down to the end, you see Hildemar's up against the wall where the water had come down, crashed, and then kind of leveled out. And you kind of just slowly glide up to him, and you stop looking at him.
Val stands up, and he just takes the dwarf, and he goes, "Stop doing that!" And then he just he puts him down, and he's like, she's so pissed.
Yeah, and the dwarf is just like, I almost died.
So Axis, as you're adjusting your stuff because you're taking your time and you notice that the water has dropped enough where you can actually see, not only can you see like a bunch of equipment that's over by where the body's hanging, you can see that there is marks on the floor. And as the water goes out, you kind of stop and look. And you see that there's a huge symbol here. There's like a giant rune that's under the water that was covered up that you couldn't see.
Can I damage it?
You can try.
He'll go over there and says, he's remembering Val said that there's this big evil portal and you got to damage it somehow. He doesn't remember that there's traps or protections against it.
Yeah.
So he'll go over there and he'll start to glow and I'll try to smite the symbol.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Rock, paper, axe.
Yeah, your axe comes down. It glows with of your holy might as you slam down. The dirt and rocks that are underneath you where you smashed explode. The ruin just kind of breaks apart. And for a split second, you see like holy energy kind of course out. And your white, pure energy kind of flows through the entire thing. And then it just kind of goes, you hear kind of like the sound of broken glass going, shh. And then the whole
hey guys, I might have done something. And he'll look around ready to fight. He's got his shield up and everything else.
Yeah, except for the dead body and the equipment that's over in the corner. There's nothing else in this room.
I accept this as tribute to my god. And he'll start gathering up some of the richer things.
Okay. So you go over and you see what looks like a suit of well-made plate armor, all etched in symbols of midnight are in it. As well as you see a belt that has a long sword and a mace actually still attached to it as it's sitting there. Several pouches and stuff. You see a book that's completely destroyed since it was in the water that whole time. A quill, an ink bottle, some old rations and stuff, basically stuff that's no good anymore. But those are the few things that seem to stick out that seem good. Both the sword and the mace are extremely shiny in light compared to what they should be.
Val might be able to identify this, so he'll gather it up and then he says, "Hey, fellas," and he'll kind of start moseying back over to the hallway.
Yeah. As you do so, you notice they're both soaked because they both dived into.
Why are you so wet?
Like, this is the exact time where Val had let go of the dwarf, and then he's still pissed, so he turns around and whips his hair around. He's soaking wet. He goes, "What?"
And as soon as he yells that, the dwarf goes and retches water on the back of Val. And it's just like,
oh yeah,
sorry, I screamed and it went in
Blood
my mouth and
mud and blood comes out of his mouth.
I swallowed a lot of water and really, I think some of that might be beer.
What have you found, Axis?
Axis doesn't like people being sick or throwing up in front of him, so he starts to upchuck a little bit. And I found some midnight gear, and there was this ruin. It was glowing evil, so I smited it.
What was the purpose of the room?
I'm not sure. It just frightened me a little bit, so I had to stop it.
You destroyed a rune of which you had no knowledge of what it could do, and now we don't know what you've destroyed. It could have helped us. It could have given us more clues. What is that you're holding?
He'll drop it. I found this near the body and the ruin. It's Midnight's gear, so be careful. It could be cursed.
At this point,
Confiscated under my lord.
At this point, Hildemar kind of like raises his hand so that Axis can see it, but doesn't touch Val. He goes, "I would just like it stated for the record that if I didn't open the door and drain the water, we would have never found the gear."
Yes, you exposed that evil dark ruin that I had to erase and erase.
It's like I travel with idiots. There is no way that we know what the room was. We don't know if it's evil. We don't know if it's good. It could have had a function like a portal, just like the other room that we passed. We don't know what the room was. We don't know what this is, and we don't know if being here is a good thing or not. Let us examine what you have found. And then, like, Val's he's at the point where he doesn't even know what to do. So he runs an Arcana or Insight check on which one can I use.
And I'd like to take time to look around where I'm at to see if it goes further or if this was just a drainage pipe.
Okay, so you know, both of you know immediately that when you hit the wall, the water continued on. It basically the tunnel goes off to the left, so you came down, hit the wall, but you can go to the left. The water thins out to the point where it's almost gone by the time it gets down there, absorbed by the wall or just from the distance that it's traveled. Val, you're looking at the equipment and gear. There's nothing that stands out that you don't have any magic abilities to detect magic, but both the blade and the mace, as Axis had pointed out, have extremely light and they're extremely shiny, even after being submerged in the water for a while. They seem to be still in great condition. They have a glint, especially the sword has a glint of silver and iron to it, which is weird considering it's like a Damascus, but it shines with this pure silver to it, and it's got that cold iron look to it as well.
You're muted, bud.
You're muted, buddy.
I'm assuming you want to take this as some form of tribute. It will make more noise and will make you slower. And he just turns away from all the army. He doesn't care one bit, and he walks towards that corridor that turns to the left.
One
No,
moment.
I've got what I need.
Those might be useful. The silver may be a useful tool to fighting the undead.
Yeah, Axis knows for sure that silver and cold iron are both useful, not only against undead but demons.
Axis knows that, right?
Yeah, Axis knows that, so he can.
I'll tell him.
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
Also, he lets us know.
Yeah.
Then Val would take the sword.
Okay.
And he just put it on his belt hilt and on his belt buckle, and he would say, "Fine, let us go."
Could you grab the mace for me? Just
I get the mace and I get the mace and I drop it at his feet, and then I just keep on walking down the corridor.
Okay, you pick it up, and it doesn't zap you, though. You know, I think your dwarven friend maybe thought you might as you drop it on the ground. It's fine.
All right, so he, you know, like I said, what I'm trying to convey is Val is at the point of frustration.
Yeah, no,
He's not,
I assume that you
like,
just down the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's. I'm trying to convey that as best as possible. So he walks down the hallway. I'll pass the narrative on to the other guys, and then I think my turn is done.
Yeah.
From the story.
So Axis and Hildemar, what are you guys gonna do? Are you gonna follow behind him, or
yeah, since
Val apparently is done with the whole thing. He's pissed.
Since I have dark vision, I'm actually going to step in front of Val. I know he's mad, and just think with a clearer mind. And I almost died. My life flashed before my eyes, so I am aware and awake and on edge.
Yeah.
I mean, I had all of Lake Ontario.
Say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to say one thing. I have dark vision too, but go ahead.
As do I.
Yeah, you all have.
Yeah, I know, but you're mad.
Oh,
you're mad. You're distracted. So
yes,
I'm gonna walk forward and not even talk to you. I'm actually gonna try to avoid your gaze and use my life-altering moment to all my adrenaline to step forward and search and try to find something.
Is anyone going to grab the mace? I just need to know if that's.
Oh, I grabbed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it to the dwarf.
Is anyone going to grab the plate mail? I mean, it's not magical, but it's plate mail, so it's expensive if you're looking for.
I'll put it on. Yeah, we'll grab it. I'll carry it.
We'll say you stuff it in your backpack.
So we went from sounding like 2 tin cans walking around to a bag of tin cans walking around.
Bag of tin cans, yeah.
I do have a question.
Sure, fire.
What's the stats? What are the stats on the short sword, or is it a long sword?
It's a long sword.
All right, what is the stats on it? You said it's silver? What is it?
As far as you know, it's silver iron alloy. You don't know whether it's got a plus or anything like that, but it's a long sword. So there's 1 to 8. The basic fact is that it works as both a silver sword and a iron sword. So if you're facing off against a creature of any of those types, it's effective.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to edit the details to state that. All right, good, cool. I'm done. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, and when you're using it, I'll tell you what the bonuses are for damage and stuff like that. Because using it will kind of let you know how much extra damage you're doing and stuff. As you're moving down, Hildemar, you continue down the hallway. It doesn't go very far. It goes about 50 feet or so once your vision gets set up and you're moving along. You get to the door, and this is literally a door. It's actually iron-bound wooden door. And you can feel from underneath it, you could feel actually a breeze that's coming out. This probably opens up to the outside, or there's some connection to the outside there. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, and I nod to the guys. I'm like, I think this leads outside. Shall we?
Let us.
And I put my...
Go on.
Oh, go ahead. If you're preparing, that'll be a great idea.
No. I'm just saying Val is ready to go. He's like, if you're not going to lead to take us to progress, he's just going to go. So you let me know what you're doing.
Yes. He puts his hand on it and he's like, ready? 1, 2, and opens the door. And that's probably where we should wrap up. It was right as the door was opening.
2 a.m. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, John. So when you decided to, I gotta ask you, when you decided to host this one shot, I don't even think I thought it would turn out like this.
No, man, no.
But...
I played this one. I've used this module. This is probably my 5th time playing it, and this is the only time I've ever seen the demon get summoned. So that alone should tell you something about the game. You're treading in a place I've never been. So we are fucking off the module, and now I'm just going with it.
I love this party. It is hilarious. I am having the best time.
Your group is so dysfunctional, but
I love it.
fucking great at the same time.
And you know what I love about it is even though this is the first time the demon was ever summoned, this was us who did it. We were like, put everyone in the cellar. It's the safest place.
It's
Like we didn't even
that was
question
the
it.
worst thing.
We weren't even like, maybe we should keep them within view. We're like, guys, look, oh, you need candles for your sacrifice? Fine, here, take them. Just don't come back up here.
Dude, almost every
Oh,
time
man.
I have to fight to get them down there. Like I have to trick the players into letting them get down there. You guys were like, let's put them in the basement.
I even kicked them
I
down
was
there.
like,
I'm like, get
oh
the
my
fuck.
god.
Oh.
You even gave them the 2 sacrifices they needed to power the.
Yeah, just the family? No, everyone's invited. Come on, come on.
Everybody. You sent the 2
Not,
farmer boys
not the
down
dwarf.
there.
Not the dwarf. These two guys.
No, the
only.
dwarf.
That was great. And I could not believe the whole thing where I'm like, wait a minute. These girls are chained with silver, these girls don't. Okay, I'm going to fake them out and see if I'm going to try to cut their leg off. They reacted naturally like I thought. And then Clay's like, I'm a sexy man. I'm going to free these women.
Yeah, if you ask Carol, like Carol she would not have known. Like they only found like the empty beds and stuff. They didn't find the girls because they had already killed the girls upstairs by the time they went down.
I missed the last part. What happened when he went to the door? Because I mean, is that when the encounter ended? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just
Cliffhanger.
opened the door, and then we're gonna use that as a hold.
I
Like,
have to
that's-
tell you, I've had my suspicions that those 3 girls were weird, which is why when I got Axis hooked up with the one girl, Kara, I sat outside her door in the first episode with my bow drawn, waiting for them. I'm like, oh, I know what's going on. And then it's just been...
Axis is oblivious to things.
Yeah.
It's funny
Axis
because
obliviousness makes it awesome.
even though the dwarf has been right all along, he rolls so terribly and is so stupid. Like, he's not even smart.
I think
enough to
they're
say
all
it, I
three
told
of
you so.
All 3 of them are stupid. It's not the question of like who's smart or not.
Yeah.
Like all 3 of them are making horrible decisions. It's just that the situation is so dire that they really can't make a good decision. So it's like anything they do is going to be ridiculous, and it's just going to lead to more fucking hijinks.
Yeah. It's
Oh.
yeah. I think at this point, so much shit has gone wrong that no matter what you do, you're kind of.
Well,
Now
Chad,
it's
much
just
more
trying to
do you think
survive.
How much more do you think we?
I would like to say that it would. I could say it'd be quick, but with you guys, I have no idea what the hell you're gonna do. There is a couple battles, right? You could face the demon. There's some other stuff that's gonna go on. The thing is, there is quite a bit of stuff that can happen, especially if you fight. And a lot of time, I mean, what's left is pretty much fighting, right? You either have to survive or get away. Those are the only 2 options you have.
well, my instincts are telling
you have
us...
a demon to deal with, and
Yeah.
you still don't know where.
My
Never.
instincts are telling me that we should run because we haven't rested and our paladin's out of healing juice. But I recall before we started the campaign, Masterofflowers was like, yeah, and he was a bitch-ass orc and he ran away. So I'm on the fence of not running away. But what would you say, probably one more session?
Yeah, probably one more.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think everybody enjoyed it. This is a odd way to... If we win, that's going down in the record books.
Oh man, if
we make it, we're gonna laugh at the orc that ran away, going, "What a dumbass!"
I am so glad that this is like your group and it's recorded because now I have proof. It's like this could happen, and this is just the craziest.
I love it.
Oh, come on, Carol. You know it's only.
I
one
love
more.
it. Well, thank you all, chat. Guys, do you have any projects you want to plug in? Dork Vision, we are playing games tomorrow.
Yeah.
Horde of the Dragon Queen will be live on my channel, everyone, so I'm excited about that. And does anyone else have any cool projects coming up that they want to let the Twitch audience know about?
Nope. We get Storm King's Thunder tomorrow, but I don't think that we're not doing that live. I don't think so.
Excellent. So you'll be able to check those videos out on Dork Vision's YouTube. In fact, head over to YouTube, go to Dork Vision's site. It's amazing, and he is diligent and quick about getting these campaigns up. So anything that he does not stream on Twitch, he has up within a day or two, and it's just fantastic work. So keep an eye within the next week for a bunch of videos coming up.
And just so you know, I am going to synchronize my Twitch with YouTube this weekend. So all the hundreds of hours of data that are on YouTube are going to be pushed to Twitch. And I'm really going to start, using Twitch a little bit more than YouTube once I get OBS, because I have much better bandwidth here now. So
Yeah.
And yeah, you and I can also hook up on Zoom, and you could do screen sharing, and I can show you all the tweaks that I've done to make my computer run better, including, and in case nobody here knows it, if you have Windows 10, there's an ultimate performance mode in Windows 10 that's been left behind from Vista and 7 that you can unlock, and it basically takes off all of the CPU locks that Windows 10 puts on your system, which will help you stream better. So look up those videos if your viewers wanting to know how to do that. As for you, Andre, we can always meet and figure that out before then. Until next time, guys, thank you, John. I have to tip my hat off to a DM, because it's not very often that DMs enjoy sitting down with a group going, here's a serious module that I really enjoy playing. And then they're like, let's cut off the head of the boar and make it talk like a puppet in the face. And maybe, so thank you for bearing with us. I, for one, love this. I was telling everyone before we played that to me it feels like we're like a mini Acquisitions Incorporated style party, which I'm growing attached to all three of these characters, and I'd like to see him again. I'd like to see him in another campaign that is not meant to be funny, but would be really hilarious. So tune in next time. I'll let you guys know the next time we can meet for Dumb and Dumber 3. Part 3 of Dancing Demon Moon.
The dumbest
and dumberest of the dumbest. And we'll all see you later. Until then, bye-bye.